is a crazy POI too. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of you have the natural rotation there. You have all those little jump pads everywhere. Players are going to be able to bounce around to different spots, whether that can make for a quick contestant for them to run into each other or to kind of avoid each other. Regardless, it's a very interesting spot for two teams to take together, and I'm super excited to see what happens today with them.
100%. Can't disagree. This POI becomes a little bit tricky, especially when you have two of the top teams on the entire region. Both of them the top 10 right now. Fabs and Snacky sitting in 5th place, while Reet and Epic Whale currently in the 8th place position. These two, as you mentioned, utilizing these jump pads to the best of their ability to either rotate out, take these engagements, but also, I mean, it's already a center map location, so having these jump pads, not only can they get aggressive against each other, but they can get aggressive to any teams close by to kind of dip in or dip out as they so choose to try and get storm tags on whichever teams are close by or even close POIs, such like Coney Crossroads.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. But listen, that's not the only battle from the bus here that we're going to be talking about. The next one we definitely have to focus on is the Daily Bugle. And these teams, it's Defiable and Cypress and Dragon and Aliege. Now, remember, we talked about them a little bit yesterday, but this is different, right? We've seen now how this battle has played out so far. And you see, day one placement here is going to Defiables and Cypress. They find themselves in 11th place here, whereas Dragon and Aliege are only in 39th. But what's interesting is both teams have split the off-spawn wins. You see, Dragon and Aliege have won 3 times. Defiables and Cypress have won 3 times off spawn. So it's kind of interesting to see who has won off spawn and been more successful. But Ben, break down the way this is working, because this is how they're landing here in Bugle.
100%. You talked about it, right? I mean, they're 3 versus 3. Both these players are trying to take the engagements to the best of their ability. They'll group up, try and take these engagements together, knowing that, hey, if we're not going to split this POI, if we're going to be forced to take these engagements every game, we need to do it together. So they'll group up, force these players into a corner, and try and force eliminations quickly rather than trying to draw it out for too long. On top of that, another way you've seen them take these engagements off spawn, a little bit more of a 50-50. These players trying to contest that roof chest, and a lot of times it doesn't go in their favor. However, something to consider, one of these teams does a great job of being able to take this loot that they're getting off spawn if they are able to come out on top and execute it through the end game. Well, Dragon is having a little bit more of an issue executing through the late games, but still, off spawn, these players still have a lot to handle and a lot of battles coming their way.
Yeah, a lot of battles indeed. Now, Bryson, you've obviously spent a little bit of time watching over this, right? Who do you think is going to come out here on top in day 2? Since it has been kind of even here after day 1.
That's a super tough call right there, Panda. Having just, first of all, 3v3 right there, 3 games won by one team, 3 games won by the other. Yep. That's going to make it a little bit difficult. But the way that they're actually now approaching this, and we're seeing some of these 50-50s, some pickaxe plays, everything, you can tell both of these teams are desperate. They know that they want to take that place for themselves. They're done splitting it. This is their Daily Bugle. So I really don't know if I have a direct prediction on which one's going to come forward, but I do think we're going to see a lot of off-spawn action at the Daily Bugle today. I do not think that is not going to, I do think that will happen. So
I think you're right. I definitely think you're right. But listen, we have one more battle from the bus that we're going to focus on. It is Greasy Grove. Now, Ben, I let Bryson break down the stats last time. This is your turn. Bring us in here to Greasy and tell us about what's going on here.
Yeah, we have Krypus, Diego's going up against Kevin and Evil. Taking this fight over near Greasy Grove. Granted, Krypus and Diego's winning 3 of these fights off spawn, while the other team not taking home any actual wipes. Obviously, kind of noting towards a split, how these players were just both making it out on their own. However, Krypus and Diego's being able to utilize the loot they are actually able to get, pushing themselves into top 10 right now in 9th place, doing a great job there utilizing and trying to rack up as many placement points as possible. But these two still utilizing a very aggressive play style, regardless of being contested off spawn. If they're able to pick up those eliminations, sure, but regardless of how that goes, they're still going to play aggressive throughout the rest of these zones, and they're going to try and pick up eliminations along the way.
Yeah, and Bryson, this is really interesting play style from them. You see how they, Krypus and Diego, they land together and they look to single out one or the other. You saw right there, they singled out Kevin. Do you think that's going to continue to be the game plan, or do you think they're going to be a little bit more passive this time around since all the pressure is on here in day 2?
Well, it's funny you say that, because theoretically that is a really good plan to be able to just isolate one player, because it's very hard to 1v2 a team. But the other team might be looking at that. They might be looking at Diego and Krypus right there and say, we're not going to let that happen today. We're going to both land on you guys instead of letting you just isolate one of our players. And they might stick together a little bit more thoroughly throughout today, making a situation like that a little bit less of a chance for that to happen. So not totally positive, but it'll be interesting.
It will be interesting indeed, but listen, there's a lot going on here, folks. There's a lot that we have to unfold, break down, and the next thing we got to focus on is the people at the top of the leaderboard. In an unexpected turn of events, we find Yumi and Cool not only at the top of the leaderboard, but sitting there with probably the most dominant lead we've actually seen across all regions after day one. If you don't know, it was actually the highest points for a team after day one. So it's going to be huge for them. Bryson, bring us in. Help us understand why they were so consistent here.
Well, I mean, already look at it, dude. They have 2 victory royales. Walking away with just 1 victory royale in a finals is a huge feat. But to say you have 2, that's crazy. Over 4 average elims, that's going to play out big for them too. I mean, just in general, having just a few elims, that's 2 points per elim. So that's an 8 extra points right there. Putting that together, that's an average of, well, not an average, but those 2 games were 40-point games together almost. So that's over 80 points between just 2 games, literally putting them over 50 points ahead of each other. So a play style like that, making sure that they're kind of playing semi-aggressive, but also passive, making sure they get those end games, look for their surge tags. This is a team that we're going to see really on top. I feel like today is going to be a big day for them too.
And it is going to be a big day, Ben. It is going to be a big day. Look, I think if they stay consistent here in the way that they're playing, they're going to do extremely well. They're going to continue to hold that top spot. But listen, we've talked about all these incredible teams. We've talked about what we're looking for. Now we got to talk about our predictions because I already hear it. The battle bus is loaded and ready to go. So we're almost into game number 7 here of the finals. So we got to break down these predictions real quick. Of course, you already know if you tuned in with us yesterday, my pick is Midi Moose. I still have faith that they can climb into that top 10 spot and be successful here in day 2. Really depends, right? Because if you don't know, they are coached by GTASA. You know, the up-and-comer. I'm just kidding. It's a little inside joke between him and I. But listen, GTASA has been doing big things for him, helping, actually, Wale and Source, my apologies, helping them do really well. So I'm excited to see how Wale and Source and Midi and Moose are able to kind of come back here in day number 2. But Bryson, who are you choosing as your prediction?
Oh, none other than Bacon and Zooks. Those guys are my homies, and I'm super excited. Second place right now. I think this is going to be a just massive day for them as long as they can really keep up the momentum. And you know what? I had to say, sporting under my jacket, I got my Zen merch, making sure that Bacon goes all the way today. Listen. So we are in full support of the boys. So
all right, Bacon. Connor, yank Bryson, take him out. It's done. It's wraps. Too much. No, but Ben, here it is. Your prediction. Who are you going for?
Have to stay true to my heart from yesterday. I mean, I still have faith. Epic Whale and Reed, come on. He talked about a couple of times that these two are a day 2 team. I mean, they pulled out big things in the past on day number 2. Granted, the lead might be too big. It might be too big to catch that first place spot, but still, I mean, if there's a team that could show out and pull out something legendary, it's going to be these two, and I'm looking for big things coming out of these guys to pull out something big and some highlight moments tonight.
Well, highlight moments are yet to come, but we got to throw it to the casters, let them talk about their predictions, and get you into game number 1 of the day. So Clay and Lash, take it away, boys.
Thank you so much, Panda and everybody on the desk. That was an amazing breakdown and setup for game number 1. Like they said, my name's Clay Sailing. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by Lash here today, and we've got our predictions, which are both pretty similar. Epic Whale and Reed for me. I mean, they're just too good, and they are a day 2 team, so I'm expecting them to perform well today.
They simply are just too good. And like you said, I'm going with the same boys, Epic Whale and Reed, in here at 8th place coming in today, as it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they can make that comeback up to the top, because even with the 50-point differential between first and second place right now, the gap is just massive here. But now we get to see here in game number 7 of day number 2 overall combined, and we're dropping in at Sleepy Sound.
Hopping in right away with Nitrix and Blizzy, a team that did not have the best game yesterday, 44 points. Looking to turn it around. They are uncontested, so for them not to do well, something must have gone wrong in the Surge game. We move over to Loot Lake. We've got Roblox Demon playing a little bit of spoiler there, grabbing a little bit extra loot away as Kika fortunately going to go down. We hop on board with Fast and Snacky, a team who we expect the greatness of, I believe, every single season. 5th place overall for them, coming out of day number 1.
They're looking mighty fine over here at the lake. like you said, 5th place here in day number 1, but battles continue to brew. Top teams, Crypass and Diego, over here at the Greasy Grove as they're going in here at Evil, and they take mighty damage almost instantly. And so far here at the Greasy Grove, it's looking like a copy and paste of yesterday.
You know, I'm so surprised that they were able to push them off so quickly and so easily. But we go over to our first place team, Yumi and Cool, who don't actually have a lot already, considering their drop was a little bit later in that path. But they've gotten really lucky with zones yesterday. Today, I wonder how it's going to favor them. We move over to our third place team. Take a look at all of our top 5. It seems like going to the northeast this time. So, you know, for those players that wanted more northern zones, this is going to be great. Landjock already big chillin' when it comes to their loadout. We move over, though. Jay and company are in a fight against Source and Wale here at Coney Crossroads.
Just a bit of a brawl. And here a reminder, folks, this is basically a new team that started to enter into the fold of contention for Source and Wale to, I guess, deal with over here, as they originally were uncontested Coney Crossroads, but just to the left of them, which were originally contesting Fabs and Snacky over there at the lake, as now they're like, all right, we know that this can be a little bit more beneficial for us to contest the whole area of Coney Crossroads and then maybe able to snag a bit of the loot. All of a sudden there, it's basically just been a standoff between those two teams at the Coney Crossroads.
Back over to Sanctuary, though, this could get interesting for a number of reasons. As there's a lot of teams in and around it, but immediately disengage with Kinchi and Remy. They know that more is on the line than just this one fight. Sets your pace for the rest of the day, and 27 versus 29th place there. So ramifications of them fighting right now are not that detrimental if they did choose to. Over to the Joneses, we've got Jelty and Critics. While they did have a very good, they had a couple good games under their belt, it just seemed like they couldn't grab every elimination they wanted. They couldn't get to every end game that they wanted as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing today how they change and how they adapt. As Reed actually going to get tagged up there from a team pushing in, and this is that team I was talking about playing spoiler.
Just a tad bit. Now they want a piece of this action right now as Reed and Epic Whale are holding the bunker down at the, I guess you could say, little edge floor of this lake area, and User and Demon are right up there, just up top. They're trying to get at least some point of Storm Surge, it seems to be, and at the moment, it seemingly is looking like a little bit of a tag battle, not necessarily an all-out brawl, because neither of these teams necessarily seem like they have the loadout to necessarily do so, as User is getting high heat and aggressive right now.
Yeah, got some great shots on the Epic Whale, but the best thing about them is that they're good at getting back together. They have a shield keg. They should heal all the way back up to full shield and full HP, as they got extra floppers there just in case. And this is where the team down below didn't want them to be. They didn't want them to be together, because as soon as they get together in box to box, it's not going to be easy for them to try to capitalize on that. We move back over to Daily Bugle, where Elysian Dragon have fought every single round. It's currently 3-3, even with Cypress and Defiable. Cypress and Defiable had a much better day number 1, coming out 20 places ahead as nice shots coming through, baiting Cypress out. With zone being so close, I don't think this is going to resolve anytime soon.
It doesn't seem like necessarily the smartest battle either right now, but they're getting right in the boxes. Cypress and Defiable need this damage. They need the intake, but Elige is able to capitalize back up onto the knock, going 1-for-1 here on spawn. But Elige and Dragon say, no. We're going to make this 4-3 here at the Daily Bugle. This is our Bugle off spawn.
And, you know, I 100% was wrong. It's going to end very quickly there. As, like you said, Elysian them didn't want to waste any time. Great fight from them, and that shows that they weren't happy with their performance yesterday. You can see it, and they want to keep it up. Over to Bacon and Zooks, who have done this strategy every single game so far, and it's paid off well. If it isn't broken, why try to fix it, they said. And second place for them, looking good as we move over. Trap, unfortunately, getting taken out pretty low, but should be fine. Able to get back to his teammate Caesar there. Jay and their teammate, though, constantly pushing. And if Trap and Caesar get some good tags here, it'll set them up well for Surge, as well as start to move them up the leaderboard.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a team that I expected to be in the top 10 overall throughout the leaderboards, because their lead up was so much bigger than we can even see right now, as them being in 17th isn't necessarily the battle of the preparation. I got to talk to them a little bit beforehand, as they were very confident coming in today, so excited to see how they'll be able to do here. But the battle for the wharf right now is backing down, as you have Moon and Locks kind of shooting down this low ground at the moment against Salt Lover and Co, who have essentially taken over the height battle, but it seems to be more so of a disengagement right now.
And honestly, those are some of the most dangerous peaks. And you have someone on low ground that just has that advantage on you. You think, oh, I'm on high ground. As soon as you peek over, you're instantly beamed. We move over. Back to the Loot Lake, which is a little bit different for Snacky and Faz this time. It's a lot more calm. They don't have to worry about that team that rotated in. They are set up almost exactly in the middle, rather. What I am worried about for them is there's not a lot of tags coming through. They're looking for it, but on their end, normally we see them trade tags with Arc and Reed. So used to saying Epic Whale there, but Epic Whale and Reed there, my apologies, early, right? And now with that team coming through, it's not there. So how is that going to affect them going through? Cool and Yumi, somehow, even though they land on the furthest side of the map, are always able to find these tags as they rotate in. 40R, Cause getting in fights with Tao Tai, and Beast looking good for 40R and company, though.
It is looking good for 40R and Kaz over there, as they're pretty much essentially contesting each other, Tao Tai and Beast. Both teams have been doing at least subpar / decent, but neither of them have been able to, I guess, expand upon that, as 38 of 40R and Kaz at the moment, they've been able to get relatively stacked up here and take a big advantage over this fight. They got a big shot here early. Now they know this is the solo. They know they need to crank up here, possibly get a couple more tags. As already third-party shots coming through. That might have just been Faz and Snacky taking shots, but other teams are as well taking over that spectator position.
Unfortunate as we swap to Tao Tai being down there. Beast trying to just get out of this situation, use everything they can, Cause at 40R. Trying to put the pressure on, but when you have that burst rifle with the striker pump, there's not really that much you can pressure. You saw and heard the SMG come out from 40R, but I don't know. Beast is just constantly building away. They don't really have the opportunity to. It seems like they are fighting a never-ending battle right now because everybody else is getting involved in this fight as well. You see them not wanting to go up, and they're going for the good old chop down, it seems like, but Beast is aware, putting some spray back down onto them. Zone pulling to the northwest this time around. We'll center up here momentarily. It's going to center around Shifty and Logjam Lotus. So that'll be good for a lot of these teams as they're already in zone. But again, that's a double-edged sword. You have to be careful with your surge. We better back over, though, to Cause and 40R, who have been at this fight for a little while now, and they have invested a lot. And where it is, it's okay-ish that they did, but it's not going to net them that much resources because, look, 40R is already pretty healthy on resources. Cause was at 130, now back up to 100 for 40R. I'm glad they realized that it just wasn't worth it.
And the only reason that they were able to expend that much into that battle was just because they had that refresh of Tao Tai right in their back pocket. But even then, they still expended about 50 materials into that battle. And at that point, they were just like, nah, this one elimination is just not at all worth going with. We got to go to zone. They saw that zone particularly full, and then they were just like, yeah, it's time to dip here. For Yumi and Cool, at the moment, dipping into that Daily Bugle. We did see Dragon and Elige also back there as well, so I'm a little bit concerned based on the positioning of some of these teams right now.
Ooh, Cool. Not inside zone right now, surprisingly, seeing as they had an opportunity to rotate very efficiently with the statue. Chose not to do so. Landruck and Punisher on the bottommost side of zone. What's concerning here is that they do have a team holding them out right now. You can see those arrows as we move over. Remy trying to find Kika on the other side. Will just that needs to find Kika on the other side. We've got Kika and Kika both representing 2 a.m. here. And Remy and Kimchi, honestly, are putting a little bit of a surprise there. I think Kika realized that Remy was there on the other side. Shots will go through, but they're not going to connect on either side right now. And this is just a waiting game. And like I said, when you're getting these elims out here, it's good. You're getting your surge. But for Remy and Kimchi, it was great because they didn't have full materials. They didn't have full loadouts. They needed that. Right? Unlike what we saw with 40 on Cause, they could go without it.
they could definitely go without that Elam 100%. But considering this is the solo of Kika right now going against this duo right now, Kimchi and Remy, it's essentially just a battle of who's going to be able to knock out the one placement of the team and who's going to be able to get that 2 points up on their own board. But Remy and Kimchi know they have this advantage right now. I'm kind of a little bit staggered on why they're not pushing in, as they appear to have taken the advice almost instantly. But as Kika tries to get away a little bit more, Kimchi kind of gets a little bit thrown in the fire, and now they have to get into the zone. Both teams now need to get on the sprint right now, because at the moment, they're now going to start getting pushing in by every single angle. If they don't get this Elam quick, they pick it up. But Kimchi now on low HP, and the helding of other teams now starting to notice this fight is immense.
And a little bit of a misplay there from Remy getting the Elam and not giving it to Kimchi, and Kimchi will go down because of it. We swap over to Jelty and Krizix, too. I'm intrigued by how little they have in their inventory based on where they were and their rotation in, but still in a good spot, still can capitalize that. They're actually holding our first place team out of zone right now. Cool and Yumi have to rotate directly to them. You're going to see them go through the water here. Just trying to put that distance between Krizix and Jelty with all that natural cover. I like that they're waiting and just moving when they need to. But this is a lot of materials being invested. 44 builds remaining for Yumi. Yumi will be tagged up by a lot of players. They have the grapple glove, but they can't use it. As soon as they use it, it's shut out. If this is first place, if they go down now, that sets the pace for the whole entire rest of the tournament.
This is rough for our first place team right now, kind of just sticking to the back end of zone as they are able to stick on their original HP ground. But like you said, they're expending materials like no other. And now lobby focus is being delivered. Yumi is down. Cool. Now a solo. And now the scrap for battles down below for the materials. And everything in between is Krizix and Yalti able to capitalize on everything that Cool was able to drop down. Or no, excuse me. Yumi was able to drop down there from that loop. So Cool, the solo right above them is still chilling. Doesn't necessarily have the focus. With 7 builds, this is rough right now, Clay.
They're going to need to clutch very, very hard here. 126 above surge, though. So that will be their saving grace for now. They have the grapple glove, another saving grace. You start to kind of add those up. What do they have that could keep them in the game versus what do they not have as we swap over to Loot Lake, a team that has not had to move Saki and Favs, but for some reason, they are very low on builds. Mind you, we hopped on board with them zones ago. They were sitting in the middle of the island. Now still sitting here on 24 builds. A team that is concerning because they don't have heals. They have the floppers. They don't really have a lot to work with. As we swap over, we're going to replay here. This is Kenzo getting a nice Elam there. That's going to be onto Midi there. Just being aware of your surroundings will net them another elimination. Great to see from them, and move over to second place, who honestly, if Cool goes down here, this is great for them.
It could be their rise to the top that they really need here in these moments, as they're kind of looking for those peaks right now. They don't necessarily need that storm surge for the time being, but it could be useful, especially if you can find that little bit of area of tag to, I guess you could say, get that damage just in case you get that little bit of extra bit of damage, and then you can, I guess, force it a little bit more if you need that elimination for that time being. But Favs and Snacky on the race for more Elams and kind of over-aggressing themselves at the moment, because they know they need a refresh for the time being right now, and all of these players essentially need that refresh as well, and one of those being first place of Cool, and he is in a supreme struggle.
Yeah, no builds remaining. Has to wait for that grapple glove to recharge. We'll go for the swing on it. Will he connect again? No. Has got no. They have no builds remaining. Pikoy is going to spot him out. Shots will connect for Cool, but they're gone. Out at about 200 plus points there. I think 215 is the mark for second place. Third place, 65 points behind. That's going to be a big game needed here. But any points gained now is a cut into the lead as Epic Whale going to pick up an elimination there. At least just a knock for now. Landrock gets tagged up, is below surge. You're going to have to find something to at least force Punisher to try to get some tags as they rotate in. This is shaping up to be a very hectic game for the top of the leaderboard.
A very hectic game, and Punisher's really feeling that heat right now, getting a little bit too close to the fire of the zone. At the moment, 26 HP and counting down from the zone. It is a 5-tick zone, and Punisher can't handle the shots as well as the zone from the back here. So third place of Landjock alone right now, as Punisher has now been knocked, able to get himself above on damage, but you have a 9th place team of Crypass and Diego also on that other side, so big damage already shot coming through from Crypass and Diego, and this elim would, could, and is huge for them here over on the edge zone, but now they have to be careful of not expanding themselves too far right now, or otherwise they could end up in the same exact lobby-focused position.
Take a look at a replay here. Fabs and Snacky. Unfortunately, going to lose Fabs there, so it's just Snacky remaining. It seems like out of our top 5, only 2 teams remain, 2nd place and 5th. There, 6 right on the bubble with Snacky, last one up, outside of zone, 19 builds remaining. Does not have any shields or heals in their inventory, and you can see Bakken on when looking at him. Nice shots from Snacky put down. Reet on the other side is popping off, taking down, popping. Looking good so far for them, but Snacky's putting a lot of damage down. Will it be enough to get them into zone, though?
It's a lot of damage already being dealt out, but at this point, it seems like just ammunition being lost in the sauce right now as he's trying to hold off the war of the rest of the lobby, I guess, sensing his exposure, but he realizes this team also has to make the same exact rotate, and if he can get a pick, just even if it's Siphon, it could be massive for Snacky right now. As him being in 6th place, seeing all the big teams going down here, this is his moment where his time to shine is only a glimpse of light right now, and the sun is starting to break through and starting to be covered by clouds at the same exact time, and he's going to end up going down here to the hands of Kaz and 40R Store.
Check out a replay here of how Epic Whale and Reed ended up getting some of these eliminations. They just were phasing through the cone and dropped a player on down. Beautiful execution there. Great teamwork. 4 eliminations. This is our 5th place team now. Looking to get another elim there on the line. Maybe able to get it. They were just a little bit faster there on the free edit of the wall. Lime does heal up, but everyone else is going to see this. With the drop down, Lime puts some good shots back onto Epic Whale. And I like that they're not over-indexing for this, right? Reach just in the back, shooting when they can. Epic Whale's not going aggressive, not going for the build fight there. We'll get some tags back and forth, but for them, all that matters right now is getting into this final moments of the end game so they can get as many points as they can to close the gap and move over Pollo and Zio. Our 4th place team eliminations are going to come through. That's great for them because, again, they can maximize the amount of materials that they get from that because they weren't full. And with zone pulling a little bit in their favor, not against them, that'll be great for their rotation.
Yeah, materials are definitely going to be key, especially in this mountain zone of rotation up here at the Shifty Hill. And for many of these top placing teams, one of those being Bacon and Zuki's right now, just on the side of the hill. 1st place is pretty much down, out, and gone for the count. 3rd place, down, out, and gone for the count. And one of those teams also, every single one in the top 10 as well, including Epic Whale and Reet, are still battling for that position at the moment, as they're also a little bit lower on builds. It's a collaboration of all the few in between. For these builds, running low on almost everyone. So, refreshes are going to be at a premium right now.
Surge affecting a lot of players in this lobby. Nico, not going to be one of them, but everybody else is shooting down this mountain, looking for anybody rotating through. And with it going up a mountain this early on, it's going to be pretty hard for players that don't have a lot to work with. Luckily, they've got the mantling mechanic in their favor. They don't have to worry about fully building like they are. I like that they're protecting themselves. Not in zone quite yet. Salty will fall apart. It's going to go down to 40R Storm, who's having a great game. Kenzo, fortunately, just going to keep getting beamed there. High ground has such a great angle on them, and not really a lot you can do. It's going to be Nigel and Angel up above. Zuki's will take down Rays. It's a nice elim for them. Again, they're 2nd place right now, so any points matter. 3rd place almost going down here. Pollo trying to outbuild the spray. Will they have the time? Yes. Moon Baboon will be the one to take down Zio. But 4 elims for Pollo. Try to close that gap again. It's 215 points where 1st place ended off.
With all these teams so close in the race, it almost seems like everyone within the top 5 is pretty much in the battle of who's going to go down first at the moment. Because for the time being, this is where Cool and Yumi right now are shaking their fists like, yes, thank you. Keep going down so that way they can expend and keep their lead. But Pollo still trying to keep his rotates on key, on par. Finds that higher in the back end, but only able to get a couple more tags there as he tries to lead in, go down, drop a little bit farther, and he needs to get uphill right now because at 13 builds, it's expending a lot more than he needs to be as beams are now being rained out from the sky, and now Bacon is down as well to the hands of Kinzo and Nico.
There's going to be all of Suzuki has to try to clutch up for points here. Kinzo getting a nice beam there, will get the elimination here momentarily. That's going to be the full finish as Bacon, again, like you said, does go down. K-Nox going to fall. Angel and Nigel up all the way there. Who from our top 5 is still up? It doesn't seem like many, but Nigel and Angel look to come through as Epic Will and Reet will also fall. Chris going to go down with K-Nox there. Locks will take them down, and seems like top 5 is really up for grab during game number 7 here on the NA West FNCS. Angel popping off in the second high ground. Mind you, his teammate has ultimate height, and this kind of sent them down, just cause chaos. Suzuki's, as I spoke a little too soon, is still here, is still gaining points to get 215. So they've closed the gap significantly from when they started.
He needs to find his way back into the front side of zone. Does have the chug splashes here to be able to pop, but in the meanwhile, Baka and On1 here in the back end of zone, popping off a little bit more, finding every single elimination that is possible in the B, and that's what you need to do, especially as one of these teams is popping off as well, while Jagbeer and Comeback up here on high ground, able to rain down the fire, but as you can see, the build's running low for everyone still alive. Zuki's trying to find the right position, the right angle to take right now on 0 builds and needs that refresh.
We get a little bit of a height change there. Jagbeer going to be up above. Zuki's no builds remaining. Grapple glove used to get them ahead. Everybody's dropping around. Shots will connect. The edit onto him, though. He's got one player really low, but he didn't look at him in time. And unfortunately, Locke's going to be the one to do it. 20th place right now. 5 eliminations, though, kind of putting his team on the back right now with Diego Locos and Cryfist making their way into the top 5 with this game. Caesar just trying to stay alive. I was going to say, it looks like it may be another Evelyn for them, but he puts a lot of damage down. Trap gets them to the front of zone. With no builds remaining, all they can do is chug, splash, and hope. Elysian Dragon having a much better game this time around. They do make it to the final moments of the end game. What can they find, though? Everybody here, we've got only 2 teams in the top 10. 1 team 4th place. Again, every point matters, because everyone ahead of them is already eliminated right now.
This is their moment, their time to shine, and one of those teams is going to be Diego and Crypass right now on low. Meanwhile, Trap and Caesar are looking to play spoiler against every single one of these teams. Meanwhile, Remy down. Trap and Caesar are looking to further their placement here in the top 10 as well. Meanwhile, Trap and Caesar just continue to knock on that door. Kimchi in the back end able to find the elimination, but high ground of Comeback and Jagveer are able to put down the pressure. Meanwhile, Crypass still chilling here in the back end. Meanwhile, as Jagveer and Comeback have been able to single out the double duo, they don't necessarily know that Crypass is still leading there in the back end. Meanwhile, he gets in and gets cleaned up by Caesar and Trap down there in low. And here we go, the 2v2, 90 limbs down on low, 8 up on height. Who's gonna drop down? It's early there for Comeback. He goes in for the big shot. Knock for knock, traded back and forth, and now it's up to Jagveer. The solo v solo, Caesar versus Jagveer. Jagveer trying to jump in the box, knows he has no other opportunity with 0 materials, and Caesar has taken over height. Caesar goes for that drop down shot, not able to connect it, at least yet. Gets that big time damage tag, but now able to find the refresh, but it doesn't matter as Caesar drops in with an 11 elimination victory royale in game 7.
What a way to start off the day. 11 elims and the victory royale. That's one way to say, hey, just because we didn't have the best game yesterday doesn't mean we are out of it here. And look at that beautiful shot from Caesar, waiting for Jagveer to hop on down. Did get the siphon, but it didn't end up mattering there because Caesar was ready. The edit was in their favor, and they end up picking a beautiful victory royale up. And that's, I mean, hey, if you're going to start out the day with a victory royale, I'm going to look at you a little bit closer and make sure, hey, don't let that get to you. I want to see them start to use this momentum lap.
They got to utilize that momentum, and that's what we saw a lot in day number 1. We get to see the continual pattern of high ground taking home these Ws. We haven't seen a single low ground victory royale, at least yet. So the storyline continues to follow suit.
It does, but we're going to have to toss it over to the desk so they can break down all the action that we might have missed.
Okay, so here's some craziness that happened. Let's start the leaderboard real quick. Cool and Yumi still in first place, right? But they went down super early there, leading
Wow.
Bacon and Zooks You got Kripus and Diego now climbing up the leaderboard, getting closer to that top spot. This is not what you want to see if you're Cool and Yumi, but Bryson, break down the rest of this leaderboard because a lot of it has shifted here in the top 10.
I mean, dude, we have Baknada and On1 in fourth right now with Zio and Poyo. Now, Zio and Poyo was another team we saw within that top 7, top 6 going into today. So to still keep them within that range is absolutely huge, but still going up that leaderboard. You had Trap, our game 1 winners. They're in that 7th place and getting all the way to our top 20 right now. We have a decent amount of players that are still kind of struggling to move upwards, but that was only their first game. So they still have a big night ahead of them and they could still find themselves within that top 10, top 5 situation.
Lots of undecided factors to be closed out. We've got a couple games left. We're just starting out for the night, so no reason to jump the gun quite yet. But something I did want to point out, Cool and Yumi went in today with a 57-point lead, still holding on to that regardless of a poor performance of game number 1, still sitting around a 40-point lead, which is absolutely nuts. I mean, with the 40-point lead coming into day 2, you can't complain whatsoever. And even with another game off the board, I mean, now there only being 5 games left in this FNCS finals with a 40-point lead, just sit back, relax, mental reset, carry through the rest of these games and just execute your strategy and make sure you don't do it again because you only really have one more chance like that.
One more chance. Listen, you really don't have more throwaway games. Even though you have a nice lead, you still need to be consistent here. And that's what it's going to boil down to. Will Yumi and Cool remain calm, consistent, collected here for this team? Well, calm, cool, and collected if we're going to throw in the puns here. But I think they can. And that's why I have a lot of faith in this team. They did exceptionally well there in day 1. And part of the reason for that was their drop. I actually want to pull up the clips that we were looking at before in the pre-show here of their drop because we got to see exactly how they executed that area of the map for them. You saw them. They dropped in towards the sanctuary and they ended up landing around the islands. And then all of a sudden, bam, they shoot themselves up to the top of the statue. They got really nice surge tags. And fortunately for them, zone pulled in their favor quite a bit. And I think that's one thing that a lot of teams unfortunately struggled with a bit. They just didn't have that zone working in their favor. So Bryson, looking at the way Yumi and Cool are set up here, do you think that was just some game rust here in the first game of the day, or is this going to be a consistent story for them throughout the day?
Ooh, you know what, man? I'm hoping it's just some game rust, but you never know, especially with how zones play out here. Because if you do have a zone pull in your favor in this direction, you are set for a decent game. But if you don't, it can make it a little bit more difficult on their end. So it really just depends what we see in these next few games when it comes to a little bit of the zone placement and just how these guys choose to utilize what they have to be able to move forward.
Can't disagree. I mean, I don't want to account their success to zone luck, but obviously it becomes a factor, right? If you're getting a couple of zones, especially at a POI like these split islands, I mean, surge really doesn't become an issue. And not to mention, I mean, your positioning, if you're boxing up on top of the statue like they've been doing in the past, I mean, you have the best positioning you could possibly have. On top of that, it's free rotation as well for those zones. I mean, locking down this POI, not to mention on top of everything else, I mean, it's a wide open area. It's free surge around your area and you're elevated. I mean, it's a fantastic draw spot, especially when it's executed properly. And these two have been doing just that. Granted, I mean, if zones are pulling away from them, maybe they don't have the practice of these kind of lobbies like they did in day 1. It'll be interesting. Granted, these still are FNCS qualifying players. They know how to play endgame. They know how to play zones no matter where they're going to pull. They just have to get into that mindset, execute, and they cannot get comfortable because the whole lobby's gunning for them. They're in the top. They're in first place position, and everyone's going to be shooting for that top position.
They definitely do. But listen, it's time, folks. We're getting ready for this next game. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to the casters. Let them intro you into this next game and then get it all started. So, Clay, Lash, take it away, boys.
Thank you so much. And great breakdown there from the desk. And I'm excited. Is it going to be just a fluke of game number 7, or can Cool and Yumi pull it around and show us how they played in day number 1, Lash? I think it's just a fluke of game number 1.
I believe so too. You know, I have confidence in Cool and Yumi right now, just dropping over there at their islands, completely uncontested. As the desk broke down, I mean, their looting pattern has been so successful, especially based off of those Storm Surge tags. And that was basically the first time that they didn't get the zone somewhat in their favor over there by the Shifty Shaft side. So they can get maybe that Sanctuary kind of zone luck again. They'll be chilling.
I think they will indeed. And with it being only the second game of the day, there's still a lot of Fortnite left to play. You'll hear that said a lot. I think we're about to hop in here, but the biggest thing that we need to keep our eye on is how these teams are reacting to Surge. We talked about it a lot. Storm Surge has been the same way since it's been put into the game up until this season, where it's changed dramatically to be more aggressive. So these players that normally were able to sit back and relax just a little bit and out heal it can no longer do that. So a big change coming through this season, and you can tell it's impacted the lobbies quite a bit.
It definitely has impacted a lot of the aggression we see. Even a lot of top tier teams somewhat struggling in those moments as well, where they're trying to get that Storm Surge, trying to get above. And even for teams like Babs and Snacky last game, where we saw them a little bit strugglesome and they found their way into the back end where they pretty much didn't find their aggression point until they went down.
We'll have to see, Lash. It's going to be an interesting one. That is for sure. I want to know who you got in the chat for these wins. I want to know who you're predicting to win this game and win overall. Again, right, this is the final day of FNCS in a West action here. Shout out to Panda, of course, for putting it all on, bringing everybody together for NA West. I want to see in the chat who you've got, who you're predicting. I want to see some love, some emotes, some hype, everything. But that's going to be here in a moment. I'll be back after a short, quick break.
What's up, Fortnite fam? Listen, for everybody at home, we know it's a little bit of a delay here, but some people didn't make it into the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and be patient here just for a few more moments. We're going to wait until the next game starts, which will be about 25 minutes from now, because everybody deserves to be able to play here in the finals. Now, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we got a special trivia that we're going to play. And for everybody that's in the chat, we might have some prizes to throw your way. So make sure to stay tuned after this break. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Listen, I promised you some trivia, and it's time. We're going to do some trivia here for everybody that's in chat. We got some prizes to go along with said trivia. So for those that were able to stay, able to hang out with us, thank you. Welcome. Sundown, I see you in the chat, and I got a special question there for you, so you definitely want to stay tuned. But let's bring in the boys. We're going to break down some of these questions. We got a few here for you. So without further ado, Ben K, Bryson, come on up here. Join us as we break this down. So, okay, like I said, this is trivia for cash, money, and V-Bucks. I'm just kidding. So it's actually just V-Bucks. But we're going to get some V-Bucks out to you guys. And my wife will be DMing the winners, and I will call the winners out as we go. Now, I'm going to ask a question, and the first person that answers the question will win the prize. All right? Does everybody in chat understand? Type 1 if you understand how this is going to work. I got to see the ones flying. V-Bucks all around here. Bryson types it 2. Okay, you know what? All right, chat, let's go. All right. Lots of ones. Oh, wait a minute. Rich Homie Quinn might get some of these. All right, cool.
And we said V-Bucks and everyone showed up. Let's go.
I know. All you got to do is say V-Bucks, man, and bam, we're all here. So, look, guys, we're going to go ahead and start. Now, the first question I'm going to ask, right? And it's going to go, Bryson's going to ask a question, Ben K is going to ask a question, and then we're going to keep the ball rolling. As many questions as we have. So, first question here. Who has the most FNCS wins out of all the regions? The first person to answer wins some V-Bucks. Let's see. I'm watching the chat here. Hold on. So it is actually, Phantom answered Arkram, but it is actually technically Epic Whale. So Teak1K walking away as the winner. You got Teak1K, Mrs. Panda, bam. Teak1K, you are the winner of some V-Bucks, my friend. My wonderful wife and mod sitting right next to me will go ahead and reach out to you here in a moment to get you squared away. Mobile viewers punching in the air right now. Hey, hi, Sky. You know, listen, you got to be quicker than that. I'm sorry, man. Listen, to all the mobile viewers out there, I apologize. I wish I could make that latency less, but unfortunately, we just can't. But the next question is all on Bryson. Now, Bryson, what is your question here for the chat? And let's see who answers it first.
All right. Okay, my question for you guys is, what tournament did Zayt and Saf take the L on?
Ooh. Okay, so not just take the L. To be clear, chat, there was an infamous clip of Zayt and Saf taking the L.
The whole lobby on the high ground, the mountain from above.
Wait, I don't. Okay, Sundown.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody
Wow.
in chat, give it up to Sundown walking away with the W there. It was Katowice, or ESL Katowice. So huge win there for Sundown. We got his number. We'll text him. His V-Buck earnings. Now, next question here. Ben K, break it down for the audience. I'm watching the chat here. I'll see who's answering first. Here it is. Take it away, Ben.
All right. Let's say it clearly so everyone can get your fingers ready. Here we go. What season did Favs and Snacky start playing together?
Ooh. Let's see it, chat. Who's going to get this answer first? What season did Snacky Favs play together? Wait, I see it. It is season 6 of chapter 2. So Poyo 1K is going to be the winner of this one. Poyo 1K, my beautiful wife here, will be reaching out to you shortly. Man, I'm a lucky guy. I'm not even going to lie to you. She's amazing. Now, again, this is a special question here that, of course, I get to ask. You know, I'm excited about this one. The chat should light up here because this is an infamous clip in Fortnite history. Are you ready? Chat, type 1 if you're ready. I got to see the ones flying if you're ready for this very special next question here as we get into it. It is none other than, there it is, ones just everywhere. All right. Who said Zexro in the chat? Oh, it's Yumi said Zexro. Okay, it is actually, you know, Yumi, good call on the Zexro because it is a question about Zexro. What caster told Zexro to pop a bandage? Let's see it, chat. Who told Zexro to pop a bandage? The infamous clip casted by one person. And wait, hold on.
No way. I see it.
Wait, I see it.
There it is.
It was Angel P2 underscore. Rich Homie Quinn was literally a millisecond off. And it was in fact Sundown. I was fully expecting, Sundown, I know you see it. I know you love the question. So yeah, Sundown was the one to infamously call out pop a bandage to Zexro. Had to throw in that very special one. So we'll get some V-Bucks over to him. You're reaching out to him? All right, perfect. Just making sure we're all connected here. Got all our winners, ducks in a row. Now, Bryson, here's the next question, man.
This is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
Who jumped from 60th to 5th place in the World Cup?
Ooh. Now, this is solos, chat. Who jumped from 60th to 5th place in the World Cup solo competition? This one is tough.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, wait.
I saw it. Crown Klein got it, yeah.
Crown Klein, congratulations. You win. It's a V-Bucks, man.
Wow.
It was, in fact, Crew who did it. Sundown coming in just after two there. See, listen, Chad, if you don't know at home, Sundown is a wealth of Fortnite knowledge. And so it was actually 66th to 6th. Sundown, listen, we need you with these facts. Hold on. We need you to teach our beautiful, wonderful person behind the scenes helping us with this, because you are literally an infinite knowledge of Fortnite history. But, chat, it's okay. We got more questions coming, more V-Bucks flying here. And now it's Ben K's turn. Ben, break it down.
Trying to see how to frame this. Who won the first NA West FNCS Trios? This is in Season 10 of Fortnite, Chapter 1. Who won the first FNCS NA West Trios?
NA West Trios here. First one in Season 10 of Chapter 1.
This is OG knowledge. This is a while ago.
Oh, man,
a while
this is
back.
flying. A lot of people saying J Roses. We need all three names. We got to see the three names.
I can just...
J Roses. All right, you know what? I'm going to say the first person that said J Roses. Hold on, let me go up. Let me take a look here. And the first person to say J Roses was Matt Brunson. Good name, Matt. I like that. Matt Brunson there. Matt Brunson underscore. You got that? Scroll up. You'll see it. Don't worry. I want to make sure before we ask the next question that we got you connected, Mr. Matt Brunson underscore. Got about 12 minutes left before we get into this next game. We got the stuff pumping here. We got so much more. You got it? All right. Mr. Matt Brunson will be sending you a message here shortly. Now, let me get back and caught up here. So the next question I'm going to ask. All right. And then I'll let Bryson ask one more question here. When did Life with Panda join the FNCS broadcast? Which season did Life with Panda, yours truly, join the FNCS broadcast? Let's see it, chat. Let's see who knows. Ooh. Oh, man, it's the pro clutch himself, Mr. Defiable. Defiable one coming in hot here and answering it correctly. It was Chapter 2, Season 7. Listen, Defiable's the homie, man. We got to meet in person at Media Day, did some interviews beforehand with him. Incredible dude in the scene. Listen, I appreciate you knowing that, actually. It was actually EcoMix shortly after that answered it. If you were a few seconds quicker, you would have had that. But there it is. So Defiable. Perfect. The message has been sent, Defiable. Hey, Bryson, Leechu 144 Hertz loves you. You got some fans here in the chat, man.
Aw, I love you too.
All right, Bryson. Here's the next question. You see that? Who won?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who? All right, chat. Who won the FNCS Solo Invitational on NA West?
There it is. Who won?
That was like what, a year ago, year and like a few months ago. Yup,
Yeah,
I saw it.
Yo,
Angel.
S1R, thank you. Wait, hold on. Let's see who got it.
I
Thank
think
you
it
for the
was
compliment
Angel.
on my beard. Let's see. Confirm it was Angel P2 underscore.
Wow,
Is that the man?
again.
Is that Angel? Is that the Angel? The homie? What up, man? Welcome.
I'm pretty sure the Pollo earlier that won, by the way, was the actual Pollo.
Was it?
Yeah.
Listen, we got the whole crew in here. Listen, if you chat right now, go ahead. If you got Twitter, go to Twitter right now, tweet out, watch the FNCS NA West watch party right now with the boys. Go ahead, tweet it out. I'm gonna pick somebody from the tweets, put hashtag NA West NAW watch party. Here it is again. Tweet out, come watch the watch party, link the stream, and put hashtag NAW watch party. I'm going to pick a couple people through the hashtag, and I'm going to get them some V-Bucks as well. So make sure, go to the socials, follow on Twitter. If you're not already following, what are you doing? Get in there, get involved. So we got some V-Bucks coming out to you guys there shortly. Now, okay. Ooh, Clay just put a question in the chat, and I got to ask this, right? And again, we'll be checking the Twitter here in a little bit to pick some winners from there. So make sure, hashtag NAW watch party. Include that in a tweet, link in the stream, and I'll get some V-Bucks out to you guys. And of course, make sure to follow the Twitter. What are you doing? One of the new followers, of course, will get some as well. Now, the question is, this one's directly from Clay Staling. So, chat, be ready. I know some of you know this out there. The question is, what is the weapon or the item that is commonly referred to as the Clay Classic? Chat, what is it? I'm keeping an eye out here. I gotta see who's gonna walk away with it. It was not the Infinity Sword, not the Scar.
Oh,
It was the Harpoon. I see Phantom in the
Wow.
chat. My man was quick with it. Phantom,
He knew.
we got you. We got you covered. Awesome. Mrs. is connected with you. I mean, Phantom, I could just DM you. Just remind me after this to get you squared away. Now, okay. Hold on. Let's see. Ooh. This is a good question, chat. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and ask this question. Are you ready? I wonder if the boys actually knew this. I'll ask you if you guys actually knew this after the fact. But the question is, which player qualified for World Cup, NA East FNCS Finals, and NA West FNCS Finals? Chat. So again, which player qualified for World Cup, NA East FNCS Finals, and NA West FNCS Finals?
oh, wait. Oh, I think this is.
Yeah,
Pretty sure
it is
this- yep.
Mecton. Yo, the boy, man. You give us an interview early on, and now you're in here answering some questions. Mecton.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, we got to get Mecton some V-Bucks. Hook him up. Let's go, chat. All right. Let's see here. Okay.
I agree with Digital Deke.
What did Digital say?
Ben K is the answer.
NK is the answer. Oh yeah, you know what?
me.
Listen, great question.
me.
Let's see who knows this, because this is a bit of an obscure question. You'd have to be a fan to understand and know this. So the question is, who won the Tim the Tapman Hoedown Zero Build competition just a few weeks ago?
Oh, Witness.
Wait, let's see. I witness with the Ben K. You are correct. Ben K right here. Ben K _live. Go follow this man on Twitter. He won $50,000 from the Tim the Tapman Hoedown. A PC. Look, show him the Herman Miller chair. Look at this thing. It's signed by Tim the Tapman. Like, low key,
Oh.
this is cool. I tried to buy it off him. He wouldn't send it to me.
And
That's
don't
a whole
look at my
nother story.
Just don't look at my shorts. You know me. Don't look at my shorts.
Look at that. Tim the Tap Man signature right there on the back of that.
That's awesome.
Listen, that's sick. That is sick for sure. Yo, chat, I think we're about 5 minutes out. So what
Man,
we're
I'm
going
glad I
to
wore
do
pants today.
is that's going to be it for the trivia questions. We're going to go to a quick few-minute break. But again, make sure you're on Twitter right now. Follow the Twitter. Number one, follow the Twitter. Make sure you check out the NA West Watch Party, and then make sure you put hashtag what? NAW Watch Party. Put hashtag NAW Watch Party. I'm going to be picking a ton of people from there, getting them some V-Bucks. So make sure you're following the stream. Make sure you're following the Twitter. And make sure you're putting that hashtag out there. I'm going to pick some people. I'll get you guys DM'd over for some V-Bucks. But we'll be right back here in just a few moments. So stay tuned, and we're almost in game. What's going on? I told you we'd be right back, guys. See, it was just a quick break. And I see those hashtags on Twitter flying. So make sure to keep them coming. I'm going to pick a ton of you out there for some V-Bucks, guys. So make sure, go ahead, hashtag it. Put it out there. It's hashtag NAW Watch Party. Link the stream. Follow me on Twitter. And you have an opportunity to walk away with some V-Bucks for yourself. Now, it's time, though. We're about to finally get into this game. Bryson, are you excited? You ready?
Excited, dude. I'm ecstatic, man. This is about to be a crazy end to this season. West ended it all with that FNCS. I'm super excited for tonight. We got so much that's about to happen going into, our second game, which at the end of the day, like I was kind of like, since we had the little bit of a lull, it feels like it's later into the tournament, but then I was like, it's only our second game. Then I realized it's only our second game. So we get so much action to watch for the rest of the night. And I'm super hyped. I don't know about you, but Ben, what are you thinking?
This is it. I mean, I kind of had a little bit of a break there, obviously, right? And I can kind of feel it. The thoughts and everything in my mind starts swirling around. What could be going on in these players' minds in this little break? What are the attitude adjustments? What are the mental changes going to be in these last couple of games left in the night? And looking for some big changes and big comebacks here tonight. I mean, it's West, right? If anything crazy is going to happen, it's going to be on NA West. This is the region that always shows out and puts on a good show. So I am super hyped to get in the game.
I'm super hyped too, but it's time. We got to throw it over to the casters to prep this game up because the battle bus is loaded, ready to go, and it's time.
It is time for game number 2 of today, game number 7 or 8 overall there. I was already ready to go into the next game, but hey, you know, we roll with the punches here on the NA West Watch Party. I'm excited. I think these players are going to change it up a little bit. When you see these delays happen, sometimes people change up their play styles just a little bit. So, Ash, I'm excited. I'm ready to go into the next game.
Here we go, jumping on into the battle bus of game number 8 of here, the NA West FNCS Finals. We're tossing it in to Sleepy Sound, Nitrix, and Blizzy here early off spawn.
Again, they're uncontested, but they haven't been having the best set of games. We swap over to Sanctuary, heavily contested. Kimchi looking for the early shots, not going to find them. Backs up immediately to Remy, and unfortunately, Vex is going to find those shots. They found an AR. Wow, Kimchi only found an SMG. Now going back up, will find their teammate, but won't find Vex's. They went ahead and dropped down, and as I said, that Vex ended up just finding an SMG. So it was SMG versus SMG. Kimchi was there trying to get revived by Remy, not able to do much there, though. Only give the call outs. Remy down below, trying to stay up. Kona was taken down pretty low. We'll only have the minis, a third party coming through. That's going to be Kona going down, and now Vex has to be careful because this is why these fights and sanctuaries have always been so chaotic. Is there's a third team just kind of lurking, and it's always just been Jeffers sitting here by themselves, waiting for this team to fight so that they can take advantage of it. Shots come through onto Vex. That's going to be a good amount of damage. Vex will go ahead and get the revive up here, though. Unless Jeffers decides to push, it looks like the teams are going to trade back and forth revives.
Yeah, this is tough right now, especially with Jeffers kind of just sitting up there on his perch right now and even gets a couple more lookout beams onto Remy and Kimchi there as now they pop down the shield keg, and it's essentially just going to be an all-out stalemate. Who's going to chill the longest, and what is Jeffers going to do? Because X is kind of out on his own, looting. Meanwhile, that being the teammate of Jeffers up there on that hill. So with him nowhere in sight, Jeffers knows he can't push in this battle, at least now. And meanwhile, Remy and Kimchi seem to be splitting ways at the moment.
This is a replay of exactly how Vex ended up getting that Elam. Beautiful aim and control over the amount of ammo. We move over as Kevin and Evol in the lower part of Greasy Grove taco shop here, trying to find some sort of solace. They haven't been having the best of games. That's because the third place team right now has been landing on them the entire tournament as Epic Whale actually going to get involved early on and take down the spoiler team, if you will, landing at Loot Lake, and that is great for them. The first full duo eliminated. It's the Epic Whale and Reed. Early surge, early loot is going to be looking so well.
It's going to be looking real good there for Reed and Epic Whale, and they need this good game as well. So a quick early all spawn for them, but this early all spawn battle of Greasy Grove has honestly just been continuously more, I guess, staying alive more so than it has almost this entire time throughout the 8 games of the finals so far. And honestly, for CryPass and Diego, at this point, it may not even be worth fighting at the moment. I think CryPass is actually starting to realize that a bit. So he's trying to, I guess, disengage a tad. Meanwhile, everybody on that left side of Evil and Kevin is just trying to take the shots onto him. And CryPass is kind of moving a little bit safer, a little bit more off distance at the time being, maybe trying to find a different weak point of an angle. Meanwhile, I guess they're kind of going in for a pinch here.
They have a lot more time where zone is, so they don't have to go that aggressive that quickly. A Psycho is lurking around. That's what they'll have to worry about, a third party coming in. We know Punisher and Landchuck are nearby. Kripus and Locos are just kind of hoping that they can out ammo and out pressure this team down here, Kevin and Evaldo. Seemingly not running out of any builds What will unfortunately come down to it for Kripus and Diego is they are going to be the ones running out of ammo because they're the ones constantly spraying, they're constantly pushing. Kevin and Volt are running out of room. Loco's trying to get a spot. He's going to get boxed, and that's what happens when you go into aggressive. We'll get one, traded out 1-for-1. Now Evol has to try to clutch up against Kripus there on the other side, and it's not going to be in their favor. Nice shot, though, but the shotgun will be 162 to the head, and that's Kripus falling early. Third place is out
of the battle, and with third place down, that leaves them out of this game to be able to make the comeback to Cool and Yumi. Meanwhile, Source and Wale over here at the battle for Coney. Both of these teams in a very similar spot up here on the leaderboards right now with Scissor and Jay. Right down there below, a new team contesting Source, like we mentioned here in game number 1. And Source and Wale are looking to make them pay. Both each traded back of big-time damage. So they're going to be able to get together back here. Now they have to worry about kind of third-party lurkers. They have two teams, one split on top, one split on the bottom, kind of peeking in onto the battle. Now, blessingly enough for them, they are kind of fighting for it in between this building. But with a team like Snacky and Fabs lurking around, this is where you have to be careful of the position of Coney Crossroads because there's a lot of top-tier teams here in the midst.
This is where NA West will start to slow down just a little bit. We've got Snacky and Fabs making their way on up, and this will be the first time they made their way into Coney Crossroads. Onward and Baca moved up into 4th place. Reminder, this is Applesauce's pick, one of our amazing analysts from yesterday. She had a lot of faith in them, and it's not misplaced faith as they're in 4th place overall. Zone pulling to the northwest once again. So anybody over in Shifty Shafts is going to be having a good time. Yumi and Cool, however, are not, as they have a team holding them for rotation. They've got to rotate through the statue as well. We move over to Nitrix and Blizzy as they're fighting on the northern side of the map here by that house.
Once
just
again,
above Shifty. And honestly, for them, they need to end this quickly.
They definitely do. And Nitrix now getting beamed flat out from the sky. And like I said, we've seen this battle here before. We saw it in game number 1. Once again, same exact thing. They go out for the disengage, and they're just like, yeah, it seems to be Storm Surge tags back and forth. You know, it could be an all-out brawl if they really went into the box, iffy for that. But at the moment, it seems to be an all-out standoff to who's going to be able to get the most damage. And Moon and Lux might just be like, all right, we got enough damage. We're going to get out of here. And we've pushed this fight for a little bit too long at this point. Now we're going to take our heels back up the foot. Meanwhile, Blizzy and Nitrix kind of being down there to their own resources while Moon are able to keep the height. Same thing with Tautai and Beast here.
A team that had a promising day number 1. Unfortunately, right now, they fell a little bit in that first game, dropping down to 14th. So I'm hopeful as we see Remy, unfortunately, going to end up falling there in the feed. I'm hopeful for them because they had, you know, the prowess on day number 1. I want to see him executed on day number 2. Azuki's and Bacon look for some shots with this DMR. A very good weapon for these Storm Surge tags, but requires you to overpeak a lot. So if you don't have these extra heals, if you don't have a shield keg, it's very, very risky.
It is indeed very risky, especially around this side where you need to hit these tags, or, I mean, Storm Surge is going to tag you right back once you reach that threshold of the overall plus 70 players around that 3rd zone as it moves in here with this new Storm Surge implemented. And for those of y'all folks that may not have tuned into this season of FNCS, Storm Surge has only been changed for the two game modes. So instead of the usual 70 surge, 50 surge, and 30 surge between zone number 3, 5, and 7, we have a Storm Surge threshold every single zone from 3rd zone on to 7th zone. Now, it does start at the usual 70 players and end at the usual 30 players, but the differentials between each of those zones does dwindle down in between the gaps of 50, 40, and 30 around that gap. So these players are now essentially forced to play a lot more aggressive battles, which is why you see here players taking a lot more over-peaking Storm Surge tags, if you will.
Speaking of teams that are getting tags, Jeffers and EXE, we saw them get some earlier, but unfortunately, the only thing they're getting tagged up right now is Storm. They've got to be careful with Cypress and Defiable right on the other side. They had a very, very promising game or day number 1, and now, unfortunately, They haven't found the rhythm. They need to keep that snowball going. As Reed's going to find Cause in the Elam feed. It's going to be a nice Elam pickup for them and finish them up as well. 40R, I'm not sure if they've gotten that Elam already or the 40R is still up and about, but that's good. Reed and Epic Whale realize, hey, we need to get these Elams early so that we can continue to pop off in these late to mid games. That's going to be 40R going down to K-Nox, so not to Reed and Epic Whale, but somebody nonetheless as EXE almost getting a shotgun shot to the face there, but Cypress missing, yet it was not in his favor there. Again, almost hitting another one, but almost only counts in horseshoes.
Almost indeed only does count in horseshoes around this area, and Cypress essentially needs that connection, and at the moment, it's like, all right, who's going to hit the first shot here and laying out the ground floor of Feast Control essentially right now, and Cypress are defiable, making it out of off spawn here of the Daily Bugle in this game number 8. Cypress and Defiable are looking to make this game count because from what we've seen, if they can make it to that end game and make it out of these mid-game fights, they can be as successful as anybody in this lobby. As for now, they are basically just looking for these tags, and for now, they're going to disengage, at least, like I said, for the time being, because they know they got to get to the zone, or otherwise you could run into positions like this where you can get held out in the rain of fire.
You saw for a brief moment, Cool and Yumi getting pressured. Crier will fall only as a knock. Cypress will split some mats over to Defiable. Zone going to come in, so Jeffers and EXE have to make a play. Are they going to continue to put the damage down? Or are they going to let this team rotate in front of them? As EXE does decide to do that, they are going to let them go at first. But what HP do they have till this happened? It's because they don't have the builds that they're forced to do this. As Defiable is sitting back, waiting. Another team is holding them out as well. And so, unfortunately, when you do this type of play, you really have to realize that it is an all or nothing. I'm staying in zone. As EXE takes a lot of damage there from inside his zone. Defiable still here to cause some chaos, but unfortunately, all they're finding is nothing.
Quite literally, absolutely nothing into the prize pool, at least yet. They're essentially putting their all into the pot at the moment. Defiable being brought down to 20 HP on that big, crucial shot from Jeffers there, utilizing that auto shotgun just beautifully, making sure they can get right in. Defiable playing with fire essentially right now. They go into all that brawl, and X is going to end up now fighting on his own, gets knocked down, and Jeffers ending up falling, finished out by the storm, but now Cypress is going to end up being the one getting knocked in the all-out ultimate of the battle. And now, the main focus of that team is getting back in his zone because, like many teams we've seen fall before the Titans around this area, if you stay in zone too long, even the best of the best can fall.
Speaking of the best, Epic Whale on your screen now with a dynamic duo. In the literal meaning of the word, they have 3 eliminations. Here, replay here to see what happened with Tai and company. Benji unfortunately falling down there as Tai ended up taking down both of them, getting those Elam credits. Just a little bait and switch as teammate go in. Thought they would leave them alone. And as I say that, Bacon and Zook's going to take down Trey. Good for them, especially if Cool and Yumi can't keep the pressure up on the lobby, can't get those points as far to lead as they had in day number 1. Again, they're still up, they're still moving, but we saw them struggle a little bit. We saw a brief moment of their fight, so got to keep our eye on them as Storm Surge is activating around the map. We'll hop over to Snacky and Fabs as they've dropped down to 10th place now. Unfortunate, only 69 damage above Surge.
Only just a sliver above, and we all know here in competitive Fortnite, especially here in the final lobby settings, once you're only about 100 damage above and even dwindling more down towards that layer, you are not safe by any means, and especially around this area where we've seen Snacky and Fabs, like we discussed before, kind of struggle for this surge. So, hey, maybe they go just to the right and sneak out. Epic Whale and Reap might possibly be, but for first place here right now, Yumi and Cool, they're kind of just chilling here in the back end as well. So we do not need to see this team go down again because of their late rotation. So they're going to hit off instantly, but they get instantly tracked out. And now they're fighting against the shots, trying to just find a natural way around here, getting in, utilizing these builds. But those builds are low down, 27 in counting, just a little bit upwards. And now this team needs to find some sort of refresher, otherwise they can end up falling again early.
Speaking of falling, not able to make the crucial rotate top 10 team here using the grapple glove from Zeno. Only going to net them a little bit of movement there before Kevin and Evol, who, again, rarely have had the chance to make it out of Greasy Grove because they've been so hotly contested. Able to do so this time around. We'll get the Elims, and Winston almost said wisdom there. He's going to need a little bit there with Mekton trying to take down Legion Dragon, a team that also has had their off-spawn complications, but able to make it here into the early and the mid-game transition. Mekton and Winston, though, not looking too good. Dom on the other side trying to take them down. 8 shots remaining. Builds not in their favor. HP nor Surge either. They're going to have to get 84 damage before the zone closes. Otherwise, Surge will instantly eliminate them in 2 ticks. They're only 8 above, essentially, where they need to be. Keto will fall. Winston has angles. Mekton has some as well, but Mekton's going to take unnecessary tags there. And now, unfortunately, with those tags coming through onto Winston, Dom is able to capitalize on that.
Winston didn't have the wisdom there to be able to stay alive out there around the top side, unfortunately going down. But Mekton is looking to hit the clutch up, but the armored wall blocks him off. He needs to find a separate angle if he wants to survive out here. And now a new team entering the fold of the fight. That's going to be Dragon and Elite. Mekton trying to find that final shot, but no, the crucial armored wall is coming around to stop. 2 HP and a dream, and he's going to end up going down into the zone. And now Dom is essentially being free-fed around this side to Elite and Dragon at the moment because he somehow makes that alive. The loot is on its own, and he sneaks out just by a sliver of HP, but I think they found him. Dragon and Elite want this Elim, and they want it bad. They're pushing into the box. They're trying to get it as much as they possibly can, but they realize here they can't overextend on this battle, especially now since they got that just a tad bit of a refresh.
They are more than chilling on Surge. They get a moment to breathe. Who's not breathing, though, is Yumi and Cool as they on their last little bit of this game. If they can't find any damage, if they cannot find any extra heals, damage just come through 23 above. So now they get a chance to breathe. Now they get a chance to relax. But it's not going to be for long. They need to keep finding damage. 47 above, so luckily for them, Surge is looking good. Everybody that was above them seemingly lose their damages. We hop in a replay defiable. And Cypress here, that's how they found Dom. And that's how a great block, actually, to secure that loot as well. We move over to Reet and Epic Whale. Normally, right now, they'd be struggling for Surge since we've seen them this time around. But today, right now in this game, it's not so much because they had these 3 elims. They had to duo push them, and were able to find one there on the cause. This is great for them. This is what will set them up for a, honestly, I'm going to call it, I'm going to see it. They're going to take high ground this game. I think this is where they need to be. They have the Surge. They have the grapple gloves. They have the positioning. If they get lucky with the zone, look for them to take high ground.
I would not be surprised to see that at one bit of the cost effective. They're a 6-time FNCS champion, at least Epic Whale, for a reason. And especially when you give them that sliver of opportunities, they are going to be looking to take that. Yumi and Cool are looking to fight for their first FNCS championship here. And in game number 8 out of 12 here, they, I believe, for basically the first time are kind of struggling, but that struggle is turned right back into reality. But one not straight and back and forth as comeback will fall. Meanwhile, Yumi, first place and down, 222 points to the hands down of Jagbeer. Meanwhile, Jagbeer also getting beamed there into the back end of zone, and that's where their falter will end, being too late on the rotates here. And for the second time in a row, we see the shifty shaft zone. So not being able to pull zone here for basically 2 times in a row here today. Cool and you are kind of struggling.
They are, and that leaves the door open for Epic Whale. Everybody above or below them in terms of points, as Reet actually just got an Elam on the Salty, and Zone just pulled their way. Everything is lining up for Reet and Epic Whale to do well. But can they capitalize? Can they make the split-second decision to win this game? We know they can. They've been in the past somehow, and Silksy is just trying just to stay up below Surge. One of the only teams there left below Surge. They're trying to get the damage there. Will not get it in time for LMAO before they get taken down by the Surge. Silksy's trying to get some damage. Nitric's going to block it all off. They just want the loot. They just have to wait. They do, in fact, do that. No points, I don't think, given over, though. So good denial there from Soxies as we swap over. Ninth place team of Snacky and Fabs as they're going in onto Turtle Tavern. And Salco shots did connect there, not too far in. As Turtle Tavern did get a lot of damage taken. Defiable goes down to Dragon. So Elysian Dragon finally able to make it out of Daily Bugle again. And just saying, you know what? We're going to prove that just because we're fighting off Spawn doesn't mean we don't deserve to be.
Not one bit. They really are starting to feel that aggression here in the end game as Dragon and Liege like, now we can take you out early game, but we can also take you out here in end game. So we're going to be able to see what Dragon and Liege can truly do here in the end game. The one time we saw them do in the end game, they made it into the top 10. So I'm excited to see how Liege can do, but Liege not getting knocked here, getting fully eliminated. Dragon able to reply back as well in the feed. So Big Elam's already going out here. Kinzo picks up one onto Russo. Dragon in there in the feed, able to get the full elimination onto Jay. As we tune back in here, Snacky and Faz. Once again, we see them in a little bit more of a shambles position here, Clay.
They are. Bacon and Zooks also kind of in shambles when it comes to materials. And Snacky and Fabs going to have one player down. That's going to be Squishy on the other side. They need that very quickly, but they can't seem to get it. They do get that confirmation, but Tavern and Salco are going to keep pressuring them. They want the mats. They want the eliminations. It turns in their favor. They do get a great amount of materials from that. Snacky able to get some shields as well. Look at the high ground. It's going to be Batman Puga and Caleb. Take a look at the front of the zone, though. It's going to be Reet and Epic. Well, they're posturing to look to take that high ground. Kona going to go down. Venji and Salt Lever will fall. Vex going to go down. That right there is, I believe, Epic Whale and Reet. They are on the front side zone. Snacky going to take down Tavern and Wavy Jacob, but Fabs is going to fall. In the meantime, Reet going for the high ground play. This is it. They cannot get up away. Where is Epic Will? What can he do? Batman Booga to take down Dragon. Shots come through. Batman Booga has to drop Reet, and Epic Will have the high ground. I called it. I said, look for it. They have the opportunity. They have the setup. And when they do, Epic Will strikes every single time. And now watch closely because they have everything they need to win this game.
Taking it here in 6th zone, though, is risky. But if anybody can do it, it's going to be Epic Whale and Reet. Meanwhile, Poyo, Zio, without his teammate, is going to be Poyo. But now you have 2nd place here of Bacon. Now, a solo. Again, many top-tier teams here living alive just by the skin of their teeth right now as a solo. One, Snacky as well, out here in the midst. Only effective of 55 total HP. Baka on one. Another top team going down. Zuki's going down here. And everyone basically in the top 10 is struggling to live out their dreams, live out their potential right now. But Epic Whale and Reet on high ground right now are looking to rank up even more in that top spot.
Poyo going to find elimination. That was on to Bacon. 2nd place going down. And that's huge for Poyo and everybody else that's on the high ground. Arkham, or not Epic Whale and Reed. My apologies there. Jelty and Krizix still up as a duo, still trying to get everything they can on the low ground. But Krizix is going to fall. That has happened time and time again with them. They get separated. It's going up a hill. This is beautiful for high ground. Punisher and Landruck trying to make the play, but they're going to be denied for a little bit. Elimination. Gone to mid. He goes over to Reed. Krizix will fall to Chris. Poyo still up top 3. Everybody in front of him is been eliminated. Can get a lot of points here. But high ground looks to reign supreme. Jelty going to go down. Batman Booga falls to Kane Knox. Punisher actually going to be the one to do it. 5 Elans, and they need to keep getting more. Everybody is in the zone or getting eliminated by it. Landduck and Punisher trying just to stay up with very little builds, very little opportunity. Reach an Epic Whale close from the high ground. Grapple glove being used to grab every little bit of material they can. Armored walls placed. It looks like anything that they do on the high ground is going to secure them to win. Everybody on low ground just has to wait. K-Nox is just stalling Landruck and Punisher's play. They can't really do anything. They can't push into him. They're going to get eliminated by high ground. That's going to be both of them going down. Punisher actually goes to zone. Reach takes down K-Nox, and they pick up the victory and catapult up to the top of the leaderboard.
Reet and Epic Whale showing exactly why they are the best of the West as they took the high ground at the very perfect position there in the final moments in Zone 6. We questioned it a bit, but since that zone went uphill, they took it and ran with the VR.
Chandra, I'm going to say, I don't know, question it. No, honey. I called it right away. I saw it, the grapple gloves in the inventory so they could secure high ground. Don't have to use that many materials. As soon as you saw that they pulled zone, they had over 100 mats, and they had a grapple glove, that's GG well played. Epic Well and Reed are going to win that game 9 times out of 10. And hey, they did. So congratulations to them. But Lash, I'm sure there's a lot of action that we missed, so we got to throw it on over the desk to break it all down.
Well, thank you so much, Clay, Lash. I mean, look, you guys are crushing it. I appreciate you guys doing a great job over there, breaking all the action down. But talking about action, we got a leaderboard here to break down. And man, is it a stacked leaderboard. And it looks like that lead that Yumi and Cool had, that little buffer zone that they had, is just dwindling down more and more here in day number 2. So let's dive in. Let's get this leaderboard up here. And it looks like Bacon and Zooks climbing up, but Reet and Epic Whale climbing 5 spots here, Bryson.
Yeah, wow. Reet and Epic Whale all going all the way to 3rd, only 2 points behind 2nd right now. And like you said, Bacon and Zooks are merely just 21 points behind now instead of around 60. But we still have Poyo and Zio making them ways to 4th. On1 and Baknada are in 5th right now with 189 points. But the boys, Punisher and Landjock, have moved themselves all the way up there, and you saw them in the end game that they are absolutely demolishing right now. But looking at our top 20, we still have a decent amount of teams here that are trying to move themselves up into the leaderboard, some falling a bit behind. But if you look forward, we have Chris and Caden in 11, Nico, Kinzo in 12, and quite a few other players really pushing to make these last 4 games tonight the big games for them.
It's your last chance. The end of the FNCS is here, and I mean, I don't want to say I told you guys so, but if there's a team to do it, Epic Whale and Reach shooting their way up that leaderboard now into top 3, and something to touch on. I took a note early on in the night, but going into game 1, 60-point lead, into game 2, a 40-point lead, now into game 3, only a 20-point lead. It's dwindling away, and it's going away fast. So Cool and Yumi, whatever you guys did on day number 1, we've got to kick it into gear if you want to hold on to that lead, because at the rate that things are going, they're going to lose that first place spot unless they can make some adjustments.
Well, there's 2 things that factor in here. And obviously, number 1 is Yumi and Cool now have been VOD reviewed, right? Their success that was on day 1, that they were kind of able to keep to themselves in day 1. These other teams now had the opportunity to see what they were doing. And if these teams are smart, which I know a lot of them are, they were able to kind of pinpoint exactly what helped them remain so consistent there in day 1. And now potentially some teams are finding a way to shut that down here in day 2. But another factor to all of this, right? Reed and Epic Whale, like we talked about, Epic Whale is historically a day 2 player, and he's showing up in beautiful fashion. That last game, they won in the 8th zone. They didn't even let it go to chance. They didn't let it go to 9th. They won it. So honestly, phenomenal performance there from them. But listen, chat, what are you guys thinking? Who are you guys predicting? Because this leaderboard is starting to get a lot closer than we initially thought when the day started. So I want to see all of you all at home. Let me know what's your predictions right now in the chat. Let's go. Let's see what everybody's thinking. I got Jonathan Plays there with Epic Whale fans rise with the flopper emote. I love to see it here. So much stuff going. And I think it's almost time. It's almost time to get into this game. But looks like a lot of Epic Whale and Reef fans hanging out. So could this be their day? I guess we'll find out here shortly, but it's time to throw it over to the casters. So Clash, Clay and Lash, the combination there. Take it away, boys.
Clash is an acceptable name, Panda. I mean, I came up with names for you, Shio, Kelly, all the time over on the broadcast, so it's understandable. We're hopping in to game number 3 of the day, game number 9 overall, and what a leaderboard shrinkage we've had. It is shaken up to where we would expect it to be on day number 1.
Very true. It is shaking up mightily well. I mean, they mentioned there a 21-point lead for Cool and Yumi up there at the top. And I'd say they're looking mighty well, at least if they could pull that zone. I mean, I mentioned it already twice here today. It seems like those zones definitely were a big help for them to be able to pull, but now they got to kind of figure out a new readaptation, because that is exactly what makes an FNCS champion. If they're going to be the ones to take it away, they need to be able to make it happen.
You need to be adaptable to the game, and that's what competitive FORTNITE's all about. game number 3 of the day, game number 9 overall, starting here very soon. If you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here with us on the NAOS Watch Party. Thank you so much for supporting all of us and Panda. We appreciate y'all so very much. And I think it's almost time. I think it's ready. And like Panda said, I want to see who you're rooting for in the chat. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Let us see in the chat. Let us see those predictions. Who is your favorite player there? Let me take a look here at the chat here in a moment. I think I saw Team Reet and Epic there in the chat. You know, we've got a lot of Reet and Epic fans here today, Lash.
A lot of Reed and Epic Whale fans. I mean, come on. We personally are the Reed and Epic Whale fans. They are our predictions here for the finals. But you know, I'm seeing a lot of Snacky and Fabs as well. A lot of that kind of entering in the fold. I mean, they are in the top 10. Don't get me wrong. They definitely can be able to pull it off. As yeah, everyone's just Reed and Epic Whale fans rising. But I mean, Clay, do you have maybe a little underlying prediction, like a wild card type pick?
Ooh, a wild. I mean, listen, I said it. It's going to be Punisher and Landjock. If they can get their game plan back to where they wanted to be, they had such a good game number 1 overall. I think currently sitting in 6th place overall right now. So for them, I think if the stars align and the zones align, we're looking at they could possibly take it over. Let's take a look at that leaderboard one more time for everybody there. It's got Ku and Yumi, who've got a 21-point lead over Zooks and Bacon, who have a 2-point lead over Epic Whale. And we dropped down to 197 points of Zero and Poyo, then down to 189 of Baka and Onwin. Talking about Punisher and Landjuck at 187. So about 40-ish points off the lead there. Definitely doable with the point format system this season, Lash.
It definitely is doable, and almost anybody within the top 10 has a chance, especially if a team like Batman and Buka and Caleb are going to be able to do exactly what they did there just past game, because that was essentially their biggest game so far throughout the finals. And now, if they can continuously do that, they're going to be able to rank up those leaderboards. And even in those last games, we saw a lot of our top 10 teams originally start to fall down. So that's where we get to see that point gap start to shorten a lot more, and anybody can really do it.
Yeah, and you know, Sith and the chat does have a good point. It's only game number 9, so the leaderboard is still very much up for grabs. But once we get past this is where every game matters even that much more, right? I know it's easy to say in the grand scheme of it all, but when we get into the halfway point of the second day, players that are not in that top 10 have to start changing their game plan if they want to get in. Because reminder, while it is about first overall for the entire tournament, every place past that gets some money, right? Players are playing for that money. They want to get as much as they can if they can't get that first place spot. So everybody playing to get that Axe of Champions. But if you can't get it, you just got to play your best. And guess what? We're hopping into game number 9, 3 on the day for NA West FNCS. So we got a bus right across the middle.
Here we go, folks. All the players picking out their drop spots, and now we get to see whether or not teams are going to be changing it up here in game number 9. As we can see, Kimzo and Nico, a team that has uncontested Reality Falls this entire time, up there at 11th place at around 150 points. So them being uncontested here has been a decent spot, but now let's see if it can continue to reign on as we tune in with the early battle of Greasy Grove, but doesn't seem to necessarily be a battle yet this game anymore.
Not at all. It seems like they've kind of picked their spots, but you see a player rotating in close. Salco getting some extra loot. Landjock is actually going to be down. Tai. Looks like they're going to be the one to do it. I'm looking to feed it, and it does seem like he was shot by Tai, maybe floating in there. That's unfortunate. Luckily for them, they got a med kit, and we don't ever really see players carrying med kits late into the game, so might as well use it now. Fikoi and Zayrez falling in their individual fights there early on. This is where NA West typically in their games start to stall out a little bit. We see a lot less players getting eliminated early. They found their rhythm of the game, and games 3 and 4 and sometimes 5 start to slow down, and we won't see as much action across the board.
The overall consistency really starting to get into the minds of the players as they start to see the finish line. They really kind of take it a pacing. It's like, all right, really, what are we doing here? What is the grand scheme of overall what we're planning to do. And for Crypass and Diego, I think they've started to realize once they started slipping down this leaderboard, they went from 3rd, now in 9th place since they started fight, or says necessarily, I guess, adapting this battle off spawn at Greasy Grove. And honestly, they're really realizing, all right, what is the grand scheme of things we're really trying to plan out here? And even teams like Epic Whale and Reed starting to fix it up here in day 2. And we even mentioned in the pre-show, this is historically a day 2 team.
Moving over to Coney, where we had a standoff last game. Jay trying to take down Source while they has been all but eliminated there. If they can find them, that would be the player they want to go and get the elimination onto. But Source has got Jay blocks like a fish, and Jay even threw them down a shield keg on his way out and said, you know what? If I'm going down, I'm going to make sure I use everything I can. I don't think they were expecting to go down there, but the beautiful edits, unfortunately not going in their favor. We move over to our 4th place team, Ozio and Pollo, who again are about 20-ish points, or 30-ish points off the leaderboard there from 1st place, well within a victory royale and the amount of eliminations we have been seeing. But that remains for Cool and Yumi to have an unfortunate game. They have been doing better, but they have not started off as well as they would have wanted. Uncontested, we move over to a contested team of Kika and Kika.
Kika and Kika able to hold that height a little bit longer. And we're now starting to see these island fights starting to move out a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit outside of the beachy theme as the vacation time is pretty much over. It's time to get to work, y'all. These 2 teams around the 30th place position. One of them is going to have to make a move here essentially right now, especially in game number 9. Counting this game is 4 games total left. And you can't be playing around any longer, especially Kika and Kika right now, as they're pretty much utilizing everything in their back pocket right now to be able to come out top in this fight, utilizing that gas can here, trying to figure out this strategy, what they're going to do. They're going to toss it on right on top. No! Scuffs it up a little bit here, and now the fight has once again dwindled out to even longer of a standoff.
Fights like this always seem like they're not worth it in the grand scheme. And I hope Kika and Kika realize that, because with where zone is, they have an opportunity to rotate out pretty quickly. They do use that gas can to try to blow up the base, but unfortunately missing the throw on it. Their party already looking, and here's Kika realizing, you know what, it's just not worth it. Kika is going to follow Kika there as they rotate in towards Daily Bugle. We move over to our 2nd place team, who, again, they have been doing this strategy the entire game, but there's a little bit different of a caveat. In a West, historically has a lot of ambushes. You've seen it many times before. Back in Chapter 2, there was remember the Sand season, the number escapes me right now, but that Coliseum, there was a play where someone hid on top of one of the shelves, waited for a team to come down through and just absolutely surprise them. Cypress and Defiable looking to do the same now, but it seems like Bacon and Zooks know that they're here.
They know they're here a little bit, but if they make one wrong step, you can essentially fall into the trap of Defiable and Cypress. And I think Bacon and Zookies know they're essentially here planning out a strategy to get them falling into that trap as well, because, I mean, both of these teams dropping into a relatively similar area, as you have Defiable, Cypress dropping in literally right above them at the Daily Bugle, and then Bacon and Zookies kind of taking this factory split right below them. And honestly, they definitely know that Defiable and Cypress have tried to play these games before, and they're not trying to play those games, especially 9th game here in the FNCS Finals.
Now getting to see this fight play itself out. Epic Whale and Reed versus User and Demon. They ended up going down to Epic Whale and Reed last time, but they've got the high ground. Shots coming through. Planned shootout from the bottom. Will they be able to get any tags? No. They shot out the bottom of the builds, but not able to do much more than that. Defiable and Cypress able to take down Zookies. That's going to be big. 2nd place going down for a team like Arkham or Epic Whale and Reed. So used to saying Arkham and Epic Whale, but for Reed and Epic Whale, that's going to be big.
It's going to be massive here with Bacon trying to fight his way as a solo here in second place. Has got to watch his back, though. In the meanwhile, gets a nice crack on the shield of one opposing player, but Cyphers is right on hot on the aggression. Tries to pull into the box, but denied right off the back end. And surprisingly here, Cyphers and Defiable are kind of backing off, though, moving into more of a different sector of this battle, as that is going to be Dom now creeping up on this battle as well. Cyphers trying to take a little extra peek, but Dom is creeping up more and more as now Cyphers has to watch his back around this battle as he tries to creep up more and more towards third place of Bacon right now. But Dom spots out one player. Neither of them realize each other are there. Never mind. It's his teammate of Trey. I am absolutely whiffing on that. But both teams so far going to disengage here.
Eliminations coming through. Let's get a replay and Epic. That's how they end up taking down User there. Great Elam coming through, and that's how they end up taking Demon. Beautiful Elams, and that's what they need. Keep their momentum going.
They got to keep that momentum going, especially up here. But as that zone closes up, Yumi and Cool able to keep that zone there, chilling out there, getting their Storm Surge tags in. Now with Pars down, Ray's left alive and fighting against the Kings of Reet and Epic Whale right now as they clean them up. Big time Elam's there, and that's 4 on the board. So Reet and Epic Whale are not messing around.
Yeah, and they jump up into second place with those Elam. 40R Storm and Cosser here. They fought this before, but they don't want any of that smoke. I'm going to be honest. They don't want that. Reet and Epic Whale are on a different level right now. They are on the championship level that they need to be on. Let's take a look at the map and where it is going to center. This may be one of our first southern zones. And as I say southern, it's really just going to center around the Sanctuary, which finally for Yumi and Cool is going to be great. This is a zone where they did well in yesterday. They won 2 games yesterday out of zones like this. This is the moment they need to really solidify that they are still here, still in the first place spot.
They're still definitely in that first place spot, but Reet and Epic Whale are rearing for that taking. They didn't win last season's or the seasons before or the seasons before FNCS, and Epic Whale get a little bit dry of that FNCS Axe of Champions. He needs the taste. He actually has never wielded the 2.0 of the Axe of Champions, so Epic Whale is really not playing one bit around the side, and nobody wants the smoke of Epic Whale and Reet as they're gonna kind of disengage out of this battle. But for Yumi and Cool, you know what? We totally called our guys in the back, you know, Clay, and we were like, all right, we gotta get another Sanctuary zone going. That's why we talked about it so much. You know, they got the zone here.
And this will be interesting to see how exactly Epic Whale and Reet play. Because yesterday, again, they didn't have the best of games, and this is where the zones kept going. But now they have 4 eliminations, Surge, and they don't have to worry about that at all on their rotation. They can get some tags here and there, but they don't have to focus solely on that, as Krizix and Jelty have spotted their team out, rather, trying to grapple glove away, but unfortunately not going to be able to do much. We move over to Cool and Yumi, who, again, they land nearby here. Luckily with this zone, they've been able to sit here and wait. We get a nice look at their inventory as they do have that shield keg. You go back on up. Cool. It hasn't popped it yet because they're waiting to try to maximize the amount of shield they can get from it. Essentially waiting for Yumi to get hit by some tags if they're looking for more Storm Surge, because again, when zone pulls towards you and you're already in center, you just have to wait for everybody to rotate to you. Speaking of rotations coming out from Zio and Poyo, they are currently below Surge. Let's wait for that to update. Not too bad, 73. That's doable. But with where they are, they're not going to find a lot of players.
Not one bit, and especially around this area here where you have to uphill this battle of the Daily Bugle right now. And with a team of Benji and Salt Lover just kind of knocking on that door, trying to get some tags as well. Zio and Poyo need to reply and respond back with some bigger damage around here. They essentially need that shield keg along with the medkits in the inventory as well. I mean, we kind of mentioned earlier, not too many people hold those medkits, especially leading into the end game. But right here, right now, in this storm battle, it's definitely going to come into play a lot. And even the med mist being popped here, but still a minute left for that zone to continue to rotate. For Zio and Poyo, they have a long trek ahead of them.
This is interesting. You don't usually see teams performing this well stay this long in zone, but they are forced to with their rotation. And now Bacon going for a clutch reboot here on Suzuki's. This is great coming back in, but they don't have anything to give them. They don't have a lot of materials. They do have a healing vending machine there, so they can get a lot of extra HP on. But Zuki's already taking damage as they're flying in, already almost going down to Poyo and Zio. Zuki's trying to Spider-Man launch their way away, Spider-Web launch their way away. But I don't know if they're going to be able to get away. They do for now, but this is third and fourth place, essentially destroying each other's game.
This is a terrible spot for both of these teams right now. Both in zone, both in the position to go down essentially right now. And now both teams need to fight to get into zone because this is going to be a 2-tick as soon as it closes right there. Now a 2-tick zone. And I don't know if either of these teams really have enough HP healing right now to keep them into the zone, especially with both teams basically down bad on Storm Surge, needing to heal, get into zone, and fight against that Storm Surge, and fighting in the midst of this battle. Zio going down here in the fight early right now, and Bacon and Zuki's might actually be able to come out sight from this battle.
They might, but look at what Zio has dropped for Poyo. Heals upon heals upon heals. Zuki's and Bacon don't have the Storm Surge hitting them there, though, so that's going to be the best thing for them. Poyo trying to out-heal the Surge, trying to out-heal the zone as well. 22 below does have another Mad Miss. He's going to get pushed, though. Has to be aware of this. Has to hear that audio cue coming through. Does, and is just going to keep building. Shield kick still there for them. Still trying to pop whatever they can. Beast going to go down in the feed. Bacon trying to make something happen. Shots coming through. Zuki's going to, rather, not too much there. Poyo hops on top of them there and gets eliminated. That's a great elim there for them, but what cost?
They need to get in zone now and all run and gun. Zuki's might not even been a worthy reboot there. Now it's worthy for those elimination points, but lots of top tier teams out here in the midst of things. In the meanwhile, we saw a lot going down. Krizik's able to keep on to that shield potion to get back up to 65 of total HP. Gets a bit of a break here on the Storm Surge. But like I mentioned, in the meanwhile, we already saw a lot of big elims going down where we saw On1 and Bach able to get one onto Diego and Cry Pass. So we're already seeing top tier teams fighting against top tier teams once again. Even Babs and Snacky are getting deep into the action, and Zeno and Notch fighting against Krizix and himself, me, myself, and I for Krizix at the moment. And Zeno and Notch essentially fighting to knock him away from contesting for that top 10 spot as well.
They get a little bit moment to breathe as Gio will fall in the feed. Zeno and Notch continuously putting that pressure down, but Krizix has been holding their own. Look who's down below them. It's Epic. Whale, it's Reet. Second place lurking nearby. They could yoink this Elim onto Krizix away. That would be huge. Azuki is unfortunately going to go down to Cool. That's going to be big. First place, getting an elimination. Finally getting back into it. Armored Wall. Going to just deny everything there from Zeno and Notch. Zeno trying to pick exit there. Krizix just slowly backing away. And as I say that, not at all. He should have been backing away, but decided to sit here and try to go for the build by trying to go for the edit shots to connect onto Zeno. This is a good back and forth, but I don't know if Krizix has the HP to 1v2 as Bacon and Zuki's will both go down to Cool. Snacky picking up an Elim. That's great for first place as they're finally putting some more points on the board. This is a good morale booster overall.
Yeah, definitely. It's because of that zone pool, I can almost guarantee it, as they've been able to hold their ground, their positioning here in the moment. And the same thing goes for Zeno and Notch right now. Another one of those teams able to pull somewhat of the zone and get a little bit closer, a little bit better in that position on one. In the meanwhile, going down in the elimination feed. That's another one of these teams that is essentially blocking off the placement line for Zeno and Notch. So they're definitely having the smirk on their cheeks right now, especially being able to take back up into their own position. We take on to the replay here of Tao Tai in the midst of the battle without Beast, though. So another one of those teams on the brink of the top 10 making moves here, Clay.
I think he will be able to get the reboot based on where they are. Yumi and Cool are honestly, and I don't say this lightly, big chilling, right? They've got 4 elims. max ammo, max shields, max grapple gloves, max builds. They've got extra to go back to. No one on this side of zone to contest them or make them worry in any way. But we swap over second place, Reet and Epic Whale. Epic taking a lot of damage, doesn't have a lot of shields left on Reet. They're going to have to find something here. They made a really smart rotation early, but it cost them a lot of their mats and HP. They invested a lot, and they didn't get that much from those first 4 initial elims. For them, they're going to be above Surge. We'll wait for it to update, but there's no way they're not as Snacky and Fabs rotate behind. That would be a great pair of elims to come through, but again, it's all about eliming the right players, because for them, the elim, Snacky, and Fabs, they're going to get the mats, they're going to get the ammo, but they're not going to get the shield that they so desperately need.
I mean, we talked about it yesterday. The gauge of whether or not knowing when to fight, who to fight, in the right positioning to fight. And at this moment, Snacky and Fabs have a decent position to be able to fight this battle against of the likes of Epic Whale and just outside as they've kind of gone to the right side. Meanwhile, Caesar and Co right above, alone and on his own out here in the midst of the battle. And he has shot at the wrong team. He has angered the wrong lions and angered the wrong dogs around. Here's their barking. But is the bark a little bit too aggressive and kind of blinding that bite, as without Fabs, Snacky is trying to live out on his own here. Has good amount of Membus, but no shield to defend that shot. So if a player hits him with that damage, they are going to get the instant indication that Snacky is low here.
It may be a prayer that he's living on, but he's not got much to work with there in the inventory. Epic Well and Reet right nearby. Caesar, 5th place by themselves. Seems like a common theme of West is our top 10. Half of them always end up going into these games solo zone for a moment there. We'll stall, and then we'll see where that half in, half out is going to go. Alige and Dragon right on the other side there. Snacky, they're going to take down one. Yumi and Cool managed to make their way in, but a little bit of pressure doesn't falter them. They're fine. They've got the HP, like I said. They've got a lot of shields. The zone pulled away from it with everybody in the match, so they had to rotate, use their grapple gloves. Now, normally they don't take height into the 7th or 8th zone, so we'll keep our eye on that and see where they end up falling. They don't have to worry about Surge because they've already put in a lot of the work. Taking a look, Mekton up on the high ground. Nico and Kenzo may look to make a push for it as well because they've got grapple gloves in their inventory.
They got the grapple gloves, and it's the exact same thing that we saw from Epic Whale and Reet last game, where they had the grapple gloves. They were set up in a decent enough position to be able to take it in that 6th zone, heading into 7th zone kind of moment. And that's where they truly thrived, being able to take advantage of a team that wasn't quite aware. As you take a look at the landscape across the island, you don't see a single team rearing up for the full taking, at least yet, as everyone's kind of just waiting to see where the zone is going to be able to go. As we take a spotlight onto Reet, 0 builds, and now they're looking to find that refresh with Epic Whale now down here in the midst of the battle. They're only a couple points behind first of Cool and Yumi right now, and Reet down to 45 HP. Needs to find some kind of refreshment here to possibly stay alive a little bit longer, as he's found a little bit of coolness around this area. Shots raining out from other teams, and has found a little bit more of a safe position, but at the exact same spot of where they went down originally. So he's going to be able to retreat back, get the materials from Epic Whale that he'd once dropped. So 56 HP, only 2 AR tags, or 1 huge pump, and Epic Whale, or total of Reet, will be going down.
Normally you like pulling zone there, but that was one of the times where if you pull zone on the low ground, everyone's going to focus you. Not just, have the high ground, but they don't have the mats to keep it, nor do they have the HP. Baka losing on one, and unfortunately, not going to be able to do much. There's a lot of loot right there, but not grabbing any of it, as they seem to be maxed out on everything they could have already grabbed. Grapple glove going to be used to rotate them on the completely empty side of zone. No one looking at him. So relatively free rotation there for them. Yumi and Cool, again, first place overall. When they have 4 eliminations, they don't place worse than 10th overall. Reet, unfortunately, going to fall. That opens the door for first place. It starts to build that lead up again. Snacky trying just desperately to clutch up. They've got a lot of HP in their inventory when it comes to the Medbus, but they have to be careful about when they use it, because like you saw, they can just overheal and it goes nowhere. Mini and Moose, though, have the high ground.
They have the height, and now they're looking to build up that leaderboard right now in game number 9. And Nico looking to do the same exact thing there in 10th, as everybody still looking for free pick'ems at the moment. And we see Snacky in the elimination feed, able to pick up new ones, but the battle for height brewing, whilst Yumi and Cool, though, try to drop down a little bit more. Their time has not quite come yet. Meanwhile, many other teams starting to filter into the high ground competition at the moment. Zukis and Bacon officially going down there in the elimination feed to the hands of Cool as well. So the team right behind them, they were able to knock them down. Meanwhile, Baka and On1. Baka by himself has taken over the second place spot.
Big clutch coming through. 5 eliminations. Gruyere will fall. Baka, 66 builds, has the grapple glove, is just flying through the air, is chilling, makes it to the front of zone, doesn't have to worry. Looks like game number 9 is going to end with a lot of new players in the top of the leaderboard. Yumi and Cool holding that second high ground there, getting another pair of eliminations, now sitting on 5 for themselves. This lead is building so quickly. Their Dragon almost going down. Their Source on the other side. Nitrix trying to block them off, trying to just heal up flopper plays we haven't seen in a very long time. Source right on the other side, just trying to heal up, get in his own. Grapple. Seems like everybody has a grapple glove, but who's going to use it the best? It looks like Baka for right now is that king.
Baka able to keep himself safe here, but has to be careful. Taking the shots and angering that tree up above as Moose and Winnin up here on height, trying to take over everything in this game. Do they have enough mats to sustain themselves? Meanwhile, Nitrix, the solo, have taken over height right now. They have everything in their arsenal. Moose now going down, getting completely finished to the hands of Jagbeer. Winnin now down, and now the original high ground team is out of the race. But Baka, 7 builds, trying to find his way, is lurking around. Come back right there, able to save himself just based off of that pre-edit right there. 1 build remaining for Baka right now, trying to look for that side shot right in the back end of zone. If he can take a little bit less of a peek, he can find that elim, that refresh that he needs at the moment, and is just playing the patient game at the moment. Does have the grapple glove, so can make a play here, Clay.
Shots go through on the Yasir. That's going to be an elimination coming through. No, doesn't seem like, no, it does go over 6 there for them. That's extra play, so that's looking good. Come back and Jagbeer up above, looks to take it, but Cool and Yumi, when they get the zone, they perform. This could be what secures them an even bigger lead. If they win here again, that just shows that they are here and they are still in this competition. They may not have had the best 2 games today, but with 0 builds remaining, what can they do? This is the difference between FNCS champions and those that get second place. These games right here matter so much when it comes to points. It's not the final game, but if you can secure a big lead here, it's that much easier to just coast into the final game on top. What they do, though, they have very little builds remaining. Armor Wall going to be placed. Come back, game 2, dropping on down. Yumi trying to find some shots. They will find it. That's going to be one. It's going to be the victory royale for them. There's no way they lose it. Jagbeer going down to Cool. 7 eliminations in the victory royale, and they show you why they're in first place.
All of the glory for Cool and Yumi as they take the top spot and lead it in even further. And even in those last 2 games here to start off the day, they were like, nah, that was only a fluke as they take home here in game number 3 in dominant fashion down there on low ground. They said we didn't even need height to take home that victory royale.
I think one of our very first on high ground winning games there for Yumi and Cool, and what a great way to do it. Show everybody, hey, we had such a lead, and it doesn't matter how we performed in the first 2 games. We're going to come back game number 3 on the day and win it, pick up that victory royale. So congrats to them. Great game all around. Win number 3 overall for the tournament as well. But leaderboard definitely going to be shaken up. Plays, we're definitely going to have this here at the casting team. But we got to throw it all over the desk for them.
Thank you so much, Clay and Lash. And listen, we're going to break this down because this is very, very significant here. We talked about it just moments ago, Yumi and Cool, who just haven't been having that clean getaway on the leaderboard here in day 2. They said, you know what? Nah, Panda, Bryson, Ben, I hear you guys, and we're going to win. And they did just that, walking away with their second victory royale here. And they actually had 7 eliminations in that game. And so actually this leaderboard is a little off, but first place for Cool and Yumi, actually 3 victories about before, that 40-point lead they had, in fact, it exists again for them. So this is what you love to see. If you're a Yumi Cool fan right now, you are ecstatic because they are back here in day number 2 after a rocky start, showing that, you know what, they're not giving up. They're still here, and they're ready to rock with it.
Yeah, ready to rock with it, to say the least. I mean, that is a hefty point difference to come back from. And you know what? We saw it too. The zone pulled in that spot where they kind of hang out around near the water, and they really capitalized on that and made sure to go absolutely nuts. But also looking at it right now, we see Epic and Reet in third still, while Bacon and Zooks fall down a little bit to fourth place. Trap and Caesar, one of our winners of game 2, number in 5th place right now, with Toyo and Zio seeing a little bit of they didn't have a full end game that game, as they did take a fight between Zooks and Bacon earlier on at the Daily Bugle, but still a lot of others players here. Fabsy and Snacky in 7, Punisher and Landjock in 8, Batman, Booga, and Caleb all the way in 9th place. A nice little climb right here, trying to get themselves on that part of the leaderboard. It's always good seeing Batman, Booga just play as hard, because that is a team right there that just absolutely dominates on the West playing field.
Big shakeups on the leaderboard now, so it's going to be down to these last 3 games to decide who's going to take home that FNCS championship. And Yumi and Cool talked about the break and how bottom viewing will come into play. It looks like they might have changed things up a little bit. They're able to reestablish that 40-point lead, like you mentioned, Panda. We've gone from a 60-point to 40 to 20, back to 40-point lead for these two, but they have never dropped below, I'd say, at least a 1-game lead on the entire lobby. I mean, these two have been dominating through and through for these finals, and looking to close the deal here. But Reek and Epic Whale still climbing up the leaderboard. The day 2 players clutching out here, but that first place spot just may be out of reach.
You know, I would like to say that, but I know Reek and I know Epic Whale, and I know that they're not going to settle for that. So
There's a team to do it.
If there's a team to do it, it's going to be them. You know, I'm actually, and this is one team I really want to provide emphasis on, Snacky and Fab. This is probably the weakest performance we've seen from them in the last 4 seasons. So I'm interested to see maybe like what's going on inside their head, right? Maybe did they not get the play time they were expecting? Maybe they didn't necessarily practice enough or prep enough for this. But whatever the case may be, there's still a few more opportunities, because we're at the 3/4 mark of the entire tournament, the halfway mark of the day. 3 games remain, 3 final opportunities for these players to walk away of their chunk of huge cash. So big things have to come from these teams. They're going to have to make some plays, make some things happen. But it's done here on the desk. It's time to throw it back over to our wonderful casters to break all of this down, because these 3 games remaining, who better to let you know all the action as it unfolds than Clay and Lash?
My favorite point of any FNCS tournament, other than the final moment, the halfway point. This is the halfway point of day number 2, like they said. This is where players are going to start to change up their landing, their rotation, and how they play the game overall. I'm excited. I hope you are as well. Good, thank you for joining us. Play and Lash. We bring you all the action here over the past 2 days, with, of course, Panda breaking me down with our amazing analyst on the desk. I hope you're all ready for game number 10, because it's coming here very shortly. Lash, I gotta ask you, where's the zone going?
Ooh. You know, it's gone to the Shifty Shack area twice. It's gone towards the Sanctuary once. So I think we're going to get a 2 and 2 area. I'm going Sanctuary once again.
Okay, we're going back to Sanctuary. That'll be big for players like you being cool. For Epic Whale and Reek, maybe not so for Vodka and Online. Really doesn't matter where the zone goes. They're going to do well regardless, showing Applesauce that they know a little bit about what they're talking about here in the competitive FORTNITE scene. You know, I did see that chat was rooting a lot for Snacky and Fabs, and unfortunately, they're going to need some very big last 3 games to perform the way they want to perform. And hey, honestly, if it's anybody that can come back like that, they can. But they're not out of the contention quite yet for that top 5, but getting a little bit dire, if you will. So I believe we're going to hop into game number 10 here momentarily. I'm excited. I hope you all are as
in to the battle bus of game number 10 here. You emphasize the halfway point play. And as these teams shift onto the battle bus, we have to see whether or not new changes are made by many other players that may be down in the leaderboard as well, and even maybe some of these teams up near the top.
Baka and on one near Synapse Nation, landing on the grapple gloves. They say if there's one thing we're going to secure, it's those grapple gloves. And we know why. They're so useful in so many different scenarios. So useful taking high ground. So useful keeping high ground. So useful just even rotating and rolling up. Now we saw Diego go down there as well. Kevin looks to take down Evil, or rather Evil needs to get with Kevin so they can take down Crisis there. As Kevin whiffs a couple shots there, and that is going to be big. I was rooting for Evil and them to come out on top here because they didn't have the best first day. They turned it around in the day number 2, but unfortunately not right now.
They don't have anything on their backbone except for just that one build separating two players right now. And both of them on that off-spawn shambles spot. But Evil is going to be able to take that back foot, realizing, though, that they are going to be able to get that revive. So kind of a bait for bait going back and forth right now between these two players at the moment. Cry Pass just trying to get this revive off. Like I said, bait for bait. Cry Pass knowing what is on the line here. Being in 12th place, he's going to need to hit this shot, maybe back him out of this battle. And especially if he wants to win this off spawn, these even points would also be massive.
Gotta be careful though, that third party coming in. Well, hasn't even gotten a chance to get this card. We'll hop away, regen some of their HP. Honestly, trying to just get as many matches as they can, regen what they can, and while Kripus was looking, Kripus saw the rotation for Evo coming through. They only have one build remaining. Rather, two, basically they're both there just trying to get away. They get a little bit extra ammo for them. They don't really get a lot out of the chest. They have 5 minutes on the regional timer once that elimination comes through to get the card. But honestly, I don't think Evo is going to have that opportunity.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I think Evo has made the very big decision of disengaging as we get to take a look back of how those knocks really unfell there, just based off of Kevin hitting nasty shots with that DMR there. So a good off spawn turned into a very sour one off spawn for them quick and early. And I think they, like I said, disengaged smartly there because we've seen in the past players like Tavern and Salco that land right below them in that kind of mushroom split just down in Babson. They played their side of Loot Lake the entire time and have not fought Epic Whale yet, but Demon and User have. It looks like they're going to go fight them yet again. The question is, they swap throughout the process this time. They flip-flop from the north to the south. Who's got the better loot? And Epic Whale agree to fight on that side of Loot Lake? They better be able to, because 2 more games left after this. Go down early now. Not looking good at all. As Diego does find his goal, trying to run away. Good Elam's coming through. That's good surge. And honestly, if they keep playing this well, they can make it into that top 5 as I use the thing. They definitely can, and they've been there before. They've tasted that top 5 of slight victory there in that position. So they want to have it back. They're like, no. We're tired of starting to slip down that leaderboard pacing. They went from 3rd place heading into Game 7 here today. Now tracking back into 12th. Tune in here, folks, with our first place team at 268 points here as they came into this game right now 40 points ahead of second of Baka and on one. So Cool and Yumi, they're feeling real cool right now off fun.
They are, but they're sweating a little bit about where that zone has not been their favor. When it starts to pull away from where they're landing, it keeps pulling away. It doesn't really go back. Shots from Jelty and Krizix will connect onto Russo, but nothing more than just a couple tags here and there. That's going to be Yumi and Cool, I believe, on the other island. But Storm took tags coming to Jelty, and well, they didn't like that, so they put the back down on Jelty. They've got a shield keg. There's last so they're fine. Saltai and Beach looking to take down Todd. by them, but twice somebody else seems like his cause is going aggressive on to Beast. Beast has the tracking, but it's not going to be enough. Outside tries to get in, trying to make sure that he doesn't have to go for the reader on the Beast this time around, and he does. And they're getting caused there. Beautiful execution on the play. They get their search tag. They get their heal. They are.
Beast and Kautai are feeling mighty confident after that battle. And speaking of feeling mighty confident, it's exactly what Millis and D-Wade want to feel right now, because they've been in that top spot as well. Early in day number 1, they were in that top 10 position. They slipped back a little bit as well, closer to that Beast and Kautai tied position. And now they're here at the kind of sanctuary type 7th position, type B5 around this area. They do have the Rifts nearby, but they want this battle. They want this fight. They don't want the easy exit against Slime and Hoppin here. They're just trying to find the correct angles to ensue this battle onto. They get nice Beast control down. Vanillas is really putting in the ensueful amount of damage into this battle. Meanwhile, Lime and Poppin have now all of a sudden been put on the back foot. The armored wall is able to give them that little bit of breath there.
Decide, you know what? No. Let's get out. Not worth it. Not worth our troubles anymore. We are just going to rift on Alden. Unfortunately, when you rift in a lobby like this, you're going to lose some shield. Luckily, as I'm saying it, you get a little bit more threatening damage-wise. This could be good. Delta and Krizik look to hop onto Keto there as they are solo, trying to make sure he doesn't get there. And fortunately, Keto stalls just long enough. Krizik does have the spot. No! Barely able to slip on out there. They want these elims because they know if they really want a chance to get back into the top of the leaderboard, they're going to have to play aggressive. And for a lot of players, that's where this game will start to show, is realize they don't really have a shot unless they keep racking up elims and placing points. So get a little bit more aggressive. And NA West is no stranger to that.
And they know they have to get aggressive, not just based off of placement, but also because of their falling of Storm Surge. They've fallen down to Storm Surge in first surge 3 times here today. So this is the point of attack where they really need to kind of pick that up a bit here, because at the moment it has not been good looks for them as far as first Storm Surge and in this new Storm Surge kind of realm. But On1 and Maka, for a team landing down at Synapse Station, have been playing their games, Surge and all, very well.
Everybody's taking a little bit more of a moment to relax right now. Shots are being exchanged, but they're just certain that no one's really pushing this first time to close. And this is game number 4 of the day. Historically, NA West right now plays a little bit slower from this point on. Game number 5 and 6, I'm expecting hectic movement as we move over to Snacky, who is separated from Travis just a little bit, looking at a different angle for any substitute tag. Doesn't have 200 effective HP, but they have the shield. The heal back one up, back over to Epic Whale and Reef. They are almost center zone. It's actually going to be Snacky and Babs that are center zone. They do not have a lot of builds. Remind you, they did invest a little bit to try to fight this team earlier, but they're going to have to make a play, whether that be now or in the transition from the early to mid game. We'll wait on that and see a nice replay coming through. Caesar does end up getting a good amount of tags here, I believe, coming on through. Great shots from them. We heard it as the Fireball and Cypress were nearby. Shots not connecting on their end. They almost center zone, totally crossroads. The Fireballs and Cypress have had such a back and forth game. At one point they were 18, now back up to 10th. These are in Trap. Now up to 5th. Trap, I believe, in a East Pro originally as well. So a lot of players, a lot of stories developing right here, right now in game number 4.
I know Trap is definitely feeling very confident here in his first season of NA West, and doing alongside with Caesar is honestly a great pairing, which is honestly overall why I had them in my kind of top 5 level of predictions of teams to look out for here today, and they've reached that goal so far. And here, calling a first game victory royale here in day 2, 7th game overall, 11 humans definitely shot them up into that point, because coming into today, they were in the 20th places positions, and now they're feeling good. They're feeling good up here, just maneuvering their way up towards the top. But Snacky and Fabs are going to need that kind of Trap and Seize first game kind of feeling right now because they really need that up kind of shot to the top of the board even more now.
They do. Tio and Koyo, 6th place. Leo and Reed pushing aggressive. They finally decide to use it. And Roblox, we are going to go aggressive on these shots coming through. That's going to be even on the other side. Got the damage need for surge. But everybody's looking at this. They got to be very careful about how they play this. They cannot get separated. And if they do, they have to get back together quickly. Lookies don't have a lot of builds. They are using their shield kick. This is a fight that they are going to have to take no matter what once they get back up. Because they do not have the resources to make it further into this game if they do not get TP.
Green Epic will at one point know exactly how to fight this, but pushing into this team that they know they've beat before, it may shift the tide just a tad bit. But Epic Whale, you saw there, get tagged up just a tad. So kind of has to move in a little bit closer. Honestly, oddly, it's either all in or all out. Tries to take that little bit of shot as everything continues to dwindle, as they continue to make this fight happen. And it's pretty much like, all right, you either need these elims now or, well, you're pretty much left to your own abilities.
Third place, you don't want to go out right now. Koyo and Theo, same strat they've been working on. This time at least they below surge. They're trying to find tags on the Aiden company, but it doesn't seem like they're hitting any. Only taking a lot of damage. Finally, some tags come through. Finally, they invest a lot of their HP to do it. Koyo down to 18. See at 1 point. They do have 2 kicks to the back up. They're going to have to invest a lot of their white shields. The only ones that they have are chug splashes. Now below surge again. They're going to have to keep getting aggressive on the Salty and Aiden. Cool and Yumi again struggle when the zone does not pull directly towards them. They have made it in the zone. They have builds and they have surge. So maybe not anymore.
Maybe, but I mean, even this rotate right now, I mean, we've seen them in this spot before, right, Clay? Like, we've seen this exact story develop again and again and again. Even today, when they haven't gotten the zone, they end up overextending themselves, and we're seeing that on display right here, right now, where Cool's been flat out laser. Now, granted, they do have the heals to be able to get themselves back up, but it is looking very scary for them.
Surge coming through with the shields being used now in forms of white HP. There's not really much they're going to be able to do unless they get a big amount of damage coming through. But Salty and Aiden are going to know that's why they're pushing him. As Epic Whale and Reed are going to be able to get those elims finally on the board there for them. That's just going to be one. It's just going to be Demon. Not going to be able to find the other one there. But, hey, that's an elim they needed nonetheless. Got extra builds, got extra shields, got extra heals. So they will get a little bit of moment to relax. Koyo, unfortunately, going to lose Zio there. That's one of those moments where you just have to let your teammate go down. Trying to find the tags, but unfortunately just getting shot up themselves. One more tick will do it. That's that one. They're still 99 below, and there's the other tick coming through. That's the elim going over as well. 6th place out of this game for Lucas and company. That's great. We move over back to first as they're barely above surge, and it's still active. They still have to go into zone. This is where they struggle. This is where it gets to a point where do you just use your grapple glove to get into zone, or do you wait? As Lucas and Bacon, our 4th place teams, are the ones gatekeeping them out of zone.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that is going on in their minds right now, deciding back and forth here as they get some tags onto rotating players as well right behind them. So they are able to take advantage of the fact that they are here, rotating a little bit later in this battle. Already fights just a brewing right behind them. So they're able to take that time to get ahead and utilize rotates coming in from Zuki's and Bacon right there on that right side. They're like, all right, you're going to hit the rotates. We're going to hit our rotates as well. But Jagbeer and School right in front of them could reach it to Giants. They get right above them here. But for Bacon and Zuki's being that close to touching in there in first place, they could have made a differential. But now they're going to kind of play their own line here. Maybe they meet again later in the game. But for now, they're going to kind of keep kept and keep safe.
Somehow able to get into zone. I thought they were going to hold more. Not sure, unfortunately, going to fall. Jelty, once again, struggling with surge, only 45 above rotation. not going to be prioritized there for them. Dragon is going to go down. And it seems like that Daily Bugle fight has stopped, and everybody that was fighting off Spawn really kind of moved away from that. They've started splitting the drop a little bit more effective. One damage above, one singular HP for Krizix and Jelty as they get tagged up. Luckily for them, it doesn't affect the Surge, and now it does. Now it's starting to put them above and below, and it's back and forth. The Legion Dragon are going to go down. Lime going down as well. Surge is active. They're finally above. Players that were above them must have gone down, and that is great. That is a sigh of relief that they feel.
A little bit of a second life, if you will, around this side. They made it past the first Surge, but now already here in the fourth zone of Storm Surge, they're going to need to stay above because throughout the next 3 zones of pulling in activity, that's where you really need to make sure all of your loose ends are tightened around that area. And speaking of a Titan, of Caleb and Batman Buga, 2 young guns in development at the moment. 2 very good players, especially here in the recent of Chapter 3 of competitive Fortnite. They've been doing a terrific job so far, ranking their way up so far this season in the FNCS after kind of being a little bit off kilter throughout the qualifiers. They made it their way here, and now they're sitting in 9th place, only 30 points behind reaching into the top 5. So they definitely have it in them to make it into that position. It would be a great story, a great spot for them to make it in, but they have a lot of teams they need to get by, and even teams like Nico and Kinzo in that 11th spot who want that spot just as badly as them.
Again, a reminder about first place for that Access Champions and the most money, but everybody else below them is going to be getting a good chunk of change. And I mean, there's a lot of money up for grabs here for NA West. Cool and Yumi currently hold that first place spot. They've had a roller coaster of days. Day number 1, they were riding. It was beautiful. They were going through everything perfectly fine. Day number 2, the track starts to shake a little bit, but they find their way back and to where they belong the best. Game number 4 of the day. What will they do differently from the other 2? Again, game number 3, they ended up picking up a victory royale. That was game number 9 overall. I know, confusing terminology, but here we are. Epic Whale and Reed both going to go down. Nico and Kinzo going to be the ones to do that, and that's big overall for the lobby. 3rd place out right now. That is not what you want to see.
Huge placements in the defining line, but right after that, Kinzo is going to end up going down. So a massive battle is just brewing. You can see here via the replay, it was a close battle, but Reed and Epic Whale decided to hop in to the box a little bit too early, and that was what made them pay the price. And them going down here in 3rd place in game number 10 is not at all the place they want to be, because they are going to slip down from 3rd place in that leaderboard overall to now slipping even more, because everybody behind them within that top kind of 8 position is very close and hot on their tails.
Snacky and Fabs, again, a team that has been back and forth, but still always within the top 10. 6th place right now. Well within striking distance. All they need are a couple good games, one extraordinary game and one okay game will put them there. They're going aggressive, going for that launch pad, trying to use it to rotate their way into zone. Very seldom you see launch pads used in the final moments of competitive Fortnite this season. Fabs almost gets eliminated there by going the wrong way. We'll find Snacky though, and they are fine.
They're absolutely chilling up there as they take it over a little bit more of that height. But one team down there in the river, in the ocean, essentially, is going to be Caesar and Trap. But they've found a little bit of a lifesaver to be able to stay alive out here in the midst of trying to get back up, trying to stay alive in this zone as they're handling the heat and pressure relatively well as they try and upscale the mountain as they're taking in that heat a lot. And Yelty and Krizix also taking in that heat heavily. D-Wavy on the other side of that wall, and Yelty able to get the big time damage through, but it may come at the cost of his teammate. Krizix is still alive, but on 8 HP, Yelty was just able to pop that flopper, get his health HP back up completely. Teams fighting around them, so he may be able to find the safe time to get this revive up.
Batman, Booga, and Caleb slowly been climbing their way up 9th place. overall cumulative. Baka and Onwin have the high ground, and they've pulled it. And now this is looking even better for them. Second place with the high ground. First place down below is going to be interesting for Zeno and Notch. Do they try to keep holding the high ground, or do they give it up? Seems like they want to try to contest for it. They both have grapple gloves on either side. Onwin and Baka seemingly have conceded the high ground for now, but who's to say they won't try to take it here momentarily? As Cool and Yumi right on the side of Jelty could have gotten a shot on him, but not going to be able to do it. Onwin and Baka do take a lot of damage, leaving the high ground. Onwin almost going to go down. Has shield, has the HP in the inventory, but has to find time to take it.
Needs to be able to get that little bit of extra breath as he's running out. Meanwhile, Fabs and Snacky are really just preparing to take the long, deep breath for this marathon still left ahead of them. They're looking to hold on to that Axe of Champions right now because they are the reigning holders of it. Meanwhile, Yahtzee in the back end is going to end up going down, but look who's right there to hold on to that back end. It's first place of Yumi and Cool, and they pull back the zone as well. So everything right in front of their sight lines, they're going to be able to hold on to it. But Baka and Onwin are looking to lead up even more placements to stay alive in this endgame and maybe reach a little bit closer towards that top spot.
High ground still maintained by Zeno and Notch. They are using that grapple glove just to make sure they minimize and maximize the amount of material they have to fight on the other side of the wall. Fast almost taking down their 7th place team, but not going to be able to do it. They had to back up. Snacky was too low. Zuki's is going to go down. Cool and Yumi are still denying points as Onwin going to fall. That's going to be Bam and Boo. We just watched it happen. Take him down. Baka now has to play as a solo. Someone right above him was waiting. That's going to be Jay, a veteran here of the NA West team, but Amendment's going to come through. Cool going to go down. Snacky going to be the one to do it. That's a big elim right there. Jay almost going down. Yumi will fall as well. Snacky takes them down both. Now trying to 2v1 as Fast leads the way, trying to make their way to the front of the zone. This is great. First place is out. 6th place can close the gap. And if anybody is going to make a comeback, I said it earlier, it's going to be Snacky and Fast. And I know everybody in chat is getting hype right now. I know a lot of players rooting for them, a lot of people rooting for them. Can they clutch up right now, right here?
They know exactly what they need to do. Epic Whale and Reed completely going down in the elimination feed as everything continued to prosperize. Kadenox down there on low ground. 3 eliminations at the moment. Now working their way into that top 8. And Fabs and Snacky continue the race for the top. They're trying to push in on every single player that they possibly can here at the moment, but have to dip back. They can't necessarily fight it quite yet. Meanwhile, right up there of his teammate tries to get back into the box here as now they're going to default it back to other players here. Meanwhile, Batman, Buka, and Caleb also in the similar position as well. So all of these teams fighting for the position in this zone.
Who's going to get it though? Snacky takes a big chunk of damage there. Down to 32 HP. Has minis. Does have a madness there for Fabs. We'll spray him there. Caesar going to take down one. Caleb going to be the one to do it. Batman Buga on the other side of the wall. Looks like Caesar going to get that elimination. No, maybe gone over someone else. It looks like Cosito going to be the one to do it there. Snacky did heal up Fabs all the way up, all the way back to full HP. They find Caesar. That's going to be elimination number 4. Snacky is getting every single one of these, a 2v2, high ground, mid ground, and low ground. Low ground looking in shambles. Snacky and Fabs look to capitalize on this. And this is the great game I was talking about. Luis on the other side goes down. Cosito trying to hide.
Oh!
Snacky says, who are you? Because this is my game right now. Elimination number 5 going over, but I believe 1 was stolen over. Zeno and Notch though are 10 eliminations on the high ground. They have a lot of mats. They have a lot of shields. They have everything they need. But Snacky and Fabs on the low ground are playing out of their mind right now. This is what they need to do. Eliminations may come through. Nice spray. Timed perfectly. They have a chance to just breathe, but they don't have any build. Unlike the high ground, they don't have the armored wall. They don't have the time, and they don't have the space to keep spraying. They have the pressure. Notch forced to pop a big shield there. Snacky and Fabs will go through old build. It is going up a hill, though. Zeno starts to drop down. They want the eliminations. This knee may be a misplay there, because if they drop to their level, Snacky and Fabs have been playing so well close quarters combat to each other, trying to match on up. Snacky going all the way. We'll find out. Shots coming through. That's going to be a big shots onto him. Will he get the elimination? No, doesn't look like it. Shots continuing to go through. Snacky is going to go down. What will Fabs find? Nothing. But the lobby is Zeno and Notch clutch it up with 12 eliminations and the victory royale.
Once again, high ground reigning supreme as Zeno and Notch able to come away with that victory royale. 12 eliminations to tag alongside it, as well as they were able to put up the position, the side shots, able to come away with that victory royale there in game 10.
And on top of that, 12 eliminations, which is ridiculous, right? When you're on high ground, you expect players to get 6, 7, 8 eliminations, but 12, that definitely is going to put them high up in the leaderboard, and I cannot wait to see it all. And of course, there's 3 people that have all of it for us, so let's toss it over the desk so they can break it down.
Okay, listen. We got to talk about it. Yumi Cool go down relatively early yet again. Now, it was 22 minutes into the game, but for them, that is early, okay? 15th place, 1 elimination, not necessarily the consistency we saw from day one. However, they have a 41-point lead. Let me repeat that. A 41-point lead from first place or from second place. Now, here's one thing I do want to mention. Snacky Favs, they're in 4th. 4th place for Snacky and Favs. This team is historically the one to come back and win over the last few seasons. But with this lead that Cool and Yumi have, I don't know that they can do it, Bryson.
You know, the lead itself is, undefilable. That's a massive lead from first to second. But like you said, Snacky and Favsy are 2 players that just absolutely know how to dominate on the second end of a tournament coming into these later games. So, and being realistic, who knows? There's a few other teams on that leaderboard too that we could really see, pump it up in these last 2 games. But that doesn't mean that Cool and them won't be able to keep that first. I think there's still a very good chance if they keep playing at a steady rate that they're going to be able to keep going. But it was really cool still seeing that game. Favs and Snacky still in that end game, second place. I know they're fan favorites. Everybody, I mean, the last FNCS winners, people want to see them do great again. So it's cool seeing them start to climb back up there. But it's going to be interesting going into these next 2 games, these final 2 games of the FNCS West.
This is it. Last 2 games. And I mean, did want to touch on, you talk about 41-point lead, right? I mean, very huge, but still, Zeno and Notch, they just had a game over 41 points. It can be done. It can be done. If we look at these teams in that top 5 within grasp, they could do it. I mean, Favs and Snacky, you have Epic Whale and Reet, you have Bacon and Zooks playing so well today. All of these teams are capable of popping off and pulling out a game just like Zeno and Notch just did. And they have 2 chances to do it. It is Cool and Yumi. If they start to slip like they've been doing today a little bit compared to day number 1, and they kind of, if they're not able to rack up some points these last 2 games, it could come very close. Granted, that lead's got to be feeling good. Going to make you feel comfortable. Going to make you relax, but you cannot let your guard down. You have to be able to execute and continue to hold on to that lead because this is the FNCS Championship, and you want to take home that number 1 spot.
You 100% do, and I think a lot of these teams, they're feeling the pressure now. With only 2 games remaining, this leaderboard is going to be tight. Actually, you know what, Connor? Number 1, happy birthday, brother. Thank you so much for running the production behind the scenes. Number 2, can you throw that leaderboard back up for me? Because there is one thing I do want to talk about. With 2 games left, there's not a lot of points here in discrepancy to make something happen. So the real contention right now, I think, is Epic Whale and Reet and up. I think these top 6 teams, it's still technically close, right? I think there is a lot of opportunity here for somebody within the top 6. But if you find yourself outside of this top 6, it's going to be tough to come back, especially when you look at like Zeno and Notch, our last game winners, right? They're at 217 points. That is almost a 70-point difference, which would be tough to make up. I mean, literally, the other 6 teams would have to not do anything for the next 2 games, and then you win both games. Like, that's how consistent you would have to be to make something happen. But it's going to be interesting regardless. It's time, though. The battle bus is loaded, ready to go. Super excited to get into these final 2 games. But, the boys, they got to bring it here all to you all at home. And that's Lash and Clay. Boys, take it away.
Game number 11. One more after this. This will be what sets the pace for a lot of players, what knocks a lot of players out of contention for that first place spot. Welcome on in. It's going to be a very chaotic game for some of these players. It'll be the last opportunity that they really have to make it into the top. Lash, you've been with me all throughout the weekend. Who do you think is going to win this game?
This game from here, it's essentially the lead up to Baka and On One. It honestly just comes down to them being able to take everything they've learned on from this point and put it into perspective. And if they can do that and pick up that evasive victory royale, they can get even closer to that top spot.
All right, big prediction there. Baka and On One. I don't have one. That's why I decided to throw it to Lash so I can put him on the spot rather than me. We're about to hop in to the battle bus. I want to see everybody in chat hyping it up. I hope you at home are ready. You're enjoying the broadcast because it has been so much fun getting to bring it to you here on the FNCS Watch Party. Of course, shout out to Panda for getting everybody here together, putting it on. And thank you to all for watching and supporting. I think I've got my answer. I think I think Epic Well and Reed. I'm so used. It's been 2 years, okay, of saying Arkham and Epic Well, but Reed and Epic Well are going to come back. They're going to get high ground. They're going to win this game. I'm calling it now, Lash. I'm calling it.
I like that. I like that. You thinking their second victory royale of the day? I mean, who else would it be except for Reed and Epic Whale? And even, hey, you never know if we could see Fabs and Snacky really look to defend their crown as we take off into the battle bus here of game number 11. And now is the point of no return, needing to make those crucial decisions now or never.
Kenzo and Nico, we saw get a lot of elims there that last game, but not where they wanted. Diego and Krypes once again contested shots. Exchange on both sides, both essentially going to be the same. Showtag's not going to be able to be popped there. The certain barrels, rather. Medkit will. They have time. Is Kimchi going to go down to Mekton? Mekton, we had on the broadcast moments before he queued up for his first game. Doing well, I know not to where they wanted to perform, but still playing very well. Trey will fall to Caesar, and the feet of Bo and Kevin have slowed down the push from Diego and Krypes, and they'll give them a chance to really put some shots back before they get surprised.
It's interesting to see, too, because ever since these teams have become somewhat civil in the battle for Greasy Grove, the team of Krypass and Diego has actually fallen back into the leaderboard more, as it seems to be that early spawn engagement was pretty much their boulder, their rock, their foundation that they were pretty much leaning onto in those moments. So now they're looking to retreat their way back up to the top of the leaderboards. And now, speaking of the top, Epic Whale and Reed, the team that you mentioned that you think will take home this VR here in game number 11, they're kind of in that preparation kind of period, if you will, as you have all three of the pillar of teams around this Loot Lake environment. And now they're all kind of preparing for the game upheld, and they're taking off into a boat battle as well.
And that's a great way to do it. They say, you know what? You're not going to look Snacky on the other side here. This could get awkward very quick for everybody. 4th place, 6th place, and 46 right there. Snacky and Fabs look like they are separated. Just Snacky right now. Reed is going to pop a little bit of shield. Doesn't have builds to really make this happen, nor does Roblox Demon or a user there. Reed trying to go up. Roblox Demon doesn't have a shotgun. This is great. Snacky and Fabs are putting down suppressing fire, trying just to get tags. This will be great for Reed. And it's going to come through. Not going to be able to hit it in time. Revolver not doing much for them. Are going to drop them down. That's going to be both shots connecting. Nice Elam coming through. Reed able to do that. Actually going to be Epic. Whale shots come through. Did they get it? Yoinked away. No. Epic's going to be the one to do it. And now Snacky and Fabs are going in. They have to be careful. This is going to be a fight of the ages if they go down. And no, immediately they say no, thank you. But Snacky going to be down very low. Reed may try to capitalize on that. I think for now they're just going to wait. They realize that it's not worth it going in. That's good Stormshot Sags. Snacky made a mistake. 40R not making that same mistake. Faz made the mistake as well. Epic Will and Reed saying, who do you think you are? You may be ahead of us right now, but this is our loot lake.
This is the loot lake of Reed and Epic Whale right now, and they're truly proving that here. Meanwhile, the battle for Greasy, Crypass and Diego are trying to essentially take hold of Greasy Grove once again. They know they need these off-spawn battles to stay afloat and move in as if it never happened, but Evolve and Kevin are looking to move in ever so slightly quicker, but they're going to back out of the track, moving into the back end. However, they have nowhere to go but up. One goes up, but Kevin's still stuck down below, in the position of below this building. And now Crypass and Diego have all of a sudden become somewhat stuck for the time being, but the ranks continue to go in between this battle. It's kind of become stalemated at the moment, but Crypass and Diego looking for every angle and possibility to win this battle.
And honestly, they need to do this quickly because zone's coming in. Teams have already rotated around them. They're going to have a hard time moving through. Cypress is going to go down to Elise while A will fall down. Jay getting taken down as well. It's a back and forth one-on-one there. Who's going to get that elimination? It's going to be Wale going down. Source will fall. Unfortunately, not going their way, so Jay and company will be fine. Eliminations may come through here momentarily. Evolve gets caught out. Kevin trying to make something happen, but Crypass and Diego are up 6-2 for a reason. Saki is going to want to take down Jay, though. The L has been taken. Kevin handed it.
He seriously just took the L there. He was like, nah, get out of our POI here. We want to take strong hold of this POI here so that way they don't land there in game number 12. So for Crypass and Diego, it's looking good for them, but looking good is going to be Snacky picking up a knock in the elimination feed. They already picked up more elims in the meanwhile as well, but for Snacky and Fabs, they're looking mighty good here in the early game of game number 11 as they're ranking up even more. And we know the two teams, Snacky, Fabs, Epic Whale, Re, and even the third here, Abaka and On One here in second place, 40 points behind first. All three of them looking to make that rise into first. But Ghoul and Yumi are holding on quite nicely so far.
Nice replay coming in to see what happened with EXE and Jeffers as they're going to take down Tautai here. Just honestly, beautiful play. Just waiting for Tautai to take the shot so they know where to go. Yumi and Cool have a little bit of zone. It's going more southern this time. We're starting to see the peak of the zone on their screen here. I don't know. I don't know if they have it in them to close them. And we talked about this, right? We talked about this day number 1. You enter tournament management mode. And if you don't know what tournament management mode is, while we see Remy trying to fight off Lux here, Moon will go down, and so will Kimchi. Lux has the HP advantage, so it looks like it'll go over to them unless Remy makes an amazing play. Shokeg will go down. Here's the thing about tournament management mode. Once you get into game number 5, if you have that big of a lead, your goal is to get to in-game and just survive. You are not trying to take risky plays. You are not trying to make over-aggressive peaks. You are not trying to do anything that you normally would in like a game number 1. Your goal is to get there and survive. They're in that mode. They are trying to make that management. And we'll get back to that in a moment while Remy is being baited out here by Lux with the reboot. They know that Shield's not going to get popped. I honestly thought Remy had a shot there on Lux, but not from the angle that we had. Unfortunately, Lux not able to get in there as well. And look at Lux sitting on 12 chug splashes. They can fight in the storm all day. They don't have to worry about anything there. Remy, I wonder how many builds they have all on metal. How many more do they have? Lux putting so much damage down, but none connecting on Remy.
Lux essentially working to lock it down right now on top of Remy, but Remy has no heals. Meanwhile, Lux is the one with the 12 chug splashes, though realizes, all right, this zone still has another minute of moving, so I'm going to book it out here. I'm heading to zone. I'll catch you later. So for Remy, he needs to find some kind of white HP healing, and he appears to have had it. Maybe you met Mr. 2 up there in the top layer of the building. So he's going to get out of there quite nicely, quite safely, as the battle of disengagements, as you mentioned there, Clay, is tournament management mode is truly really being cited, as you even have even more aggressive teams starting to feel that heat right now, and even hitting a little bit, even sometimes of a unusual disengage at moments just because they know what's on the line, and sometimes it may be worth it for the short term, but they need to be focusing on the long term.
Unfortunately, long term, there's not much left. We got one more game after this. They don't really have an option to look further than right here, right now in this moment. Because this moment will define how you play the next game. Do you go aggressive and try to get as many points as you can because you're outside where you want to be? Or do you play a very slow-paced game? We'll get to take a look at the map shot here. And, oh, baby, it's going to Condo Canyon. Finally, a southern zone here for NA West. Now, normally, throughout the season, having to play these zones, this is the first one we will see this south in the NA West FNCS finals this weekend. So I'm excited for these players that have not had to rotate here. I'm excited for the players that have been waiting for the zone because they're going to pop off.
Yeah, every single one of these players, especially down there at the south side, teams like Zeno, Notch, Wavy, and Vanillas, lots of them just waiting for this opportunity. And for teams like Chrisix and Yeltsin that have been struggling with Storm Surge, this may be their moment where they can make that rise up to the occasion and really hit that extra bit of damage they need to make it farther into the game as well. As we move in here to 10th place, Apoyo and Zio, a team that has kind of fallen down here in the leaderboards, down to that 10th place spot. They're still in the battle for it. Meanwhile, we have Cool and Yumi out in their usual position up here at the top of the Foundation Rock.
They don't have zone. They have everything they normally do. Not as many materials, not the best loot, but they have the grapple glove, they have search tags, and they have their rotation. Everyone else, though, is already looking at them. These are multiple teams looking for the tags. Cusito and Lewis, who put up a great fight in the last game, fortunately fell a little short, but still, for them, that's going to be great because it means they go up more placement, which means overall more prize money at the end of the day. So they need to keep that momentum going if they want to keep climbing the ranks to the top 10. 29th place, they definitely could make it if they have two back-to-back great games. Look at that. Epic Whale and Epic Higher nearby. Snacky and Fabs, 3rd place. Rotating through. Punisher nearby. Unfortunately, Punisher will be tagged up just a little bit. And with them, with where they're rotating and where they're landing, you can see the impact of it on their loot. They don't have Chuck Splashes, big shields, the typical loot that we see in competitive Fortnite. They have floppers and they have shields.
It's definitely a little bit more original for Punisher and Landjock, but honestly, you cannot be surprised when a team like Punisher and Landjock, true veterans in the space, they're always going to take a little bit more of a different route than anybody else, really. And honestly, it's truly shining there on the rotate. They know exactly what to do. They know exactly where to rotate on that experience this side of things because they've had the experience in the zone before. So they know exactly how to plan out that rotate and get to that south side of the Condo Canyon type area. So they're going to kind of go over there towards that Synapse Station type beat over there. But Caesar trapped right now on the edge of Sanctuary, 164 damage below on Storm Surge. This is a team that is struggling on the rotate so far here today.
4th place, though. They've struggled on rotates. They've been below Surge, but they don't let it worry them. They don't let it shake them, but this will. Caesar going down. You do not want to go down right now. Trap really going to have to clutch up. Nice shot there. Going to crack all the shields. What can they do? Vex is low as well. They can find them out. This will be great. The zone is going to be unforgiving here. They're going to try to go back, try to go for the pickup there. Time not going to be on their side. Trap not going to have the ability to get there. Not going to separate him. And unfortunately, that's going to be the downfall there. That's going to be 4th place out early in game number 11. Not what you want to see.
Such an unfortunate falling there for a top spot team of Trap and Caesar going down there at the solid spot of 4th place overall on these leaderboards. And especially here in game number 11, not the place where you want to fall down. Meanwhile, a team up there at the top spot on 1, able to pick up an elimination in the feed for 1st place. Cool and Yumi hitting up the big time shots of damage, but Cool in trouble right now. 100 HP, able to experiment, toss down the armored wall. Meanwhile, player of Defiable down there. Down goes Cypers. So Cool and Yumi continue to fly up those leaderboards.
gonna be hard. Gonna be hard to catch them. Reed and Epic Whale want to do that. They just got an elim. So these players don't like that. And they say, you know what? No. Armored wall, which is honestly one of the biggest counters to being sprayed. I mean, it is the counter to being sprayed. And I have loved the introduction of it ever since. Epic Whale and Reed sitting on so much loot, they don't know what to do with it. 4 elims. And I believe we're going to see how they got those elims. They are so good at doing this right here, editing together, spraying players down. Cosito tried to peek, and, well, unfortunately, not the peek you want to take, and not the people you want to peek.
Not at all the people you want to peek against. Epic Whale and Reed will make you pay every single time you try and take that little bit of extra overstretching kind of shot. Nah, you're absolutely slapped upon the wrist at that moment. But Baz and Snacky, they're looking to make other people pay around here, around their literal center of zone. Baz and Snacky are the rotating pillar of zone right now, as everyone tries to filter in. Baz and Snacky basically dictate where you go, where other players go, and then being able to get atop of Storm Surge for this game. So we've seen them struggle a bit here today, but now this could be the game of Baz and Snacky.
It may be, and I'm not sure who was standing out in the open there. I think it was Blizzy, but you got to be more careful about that. Baka and On1 have secured ultimate high ground as we move through. They are being the utmost careful, as Ty knows there's a team above them. When you're building out of wood, there's not a lot you can really do. Swaps over to Brick, but everybody in the lobby seems to want Ty to go down in 33rd place. They're just looking to try to clutch up as many points as they can right now. I think their teammate, unfortunately, already did go down. Salco and Tavern right there on the other side, trying to put pressure. So is Venji and Salt Lover. Notch and Zeno, who we saw have a amazing high ground game, 12 elims and a victory royale, sitting in 7th above Surge, almost in next zone as well. They're chilling.
They are absolutely vibing, but now we get to see where that 4th zone is going to pull a little bit in front of their sight lines. This is doable. This is very doable for Notch and Zeno to be able to hit this rotate, but for Epic Whale and Reet right now, they're on the hunt for more elims. They know exactly what it takes to be able to get up into that top 2 and even in that first place. So for every elimination that they can get, that's another plus 2 points for them. They already have 4 on the board this game, and it's all about the catch up to Cool and Yumi right now, who also have 4 elims on the board this game.
Nice shots. I thought Reet was going to wait for Epic to be there to get more, but that's fine. More tags are always good if they can capitalize on the eliminations, but Notch and Zeno are going to take down Reet. Reet's going to get caught down there. Unfortunately, going to be eliminated. Epic Well, how many armored walls do you have? Uses 1 to be able to get Reet back up. It seems like maybe for now the pressure not going to be there, but that was almost a tournament defining moment.
So close to them losing that spot here in game number 11 overall, but they were able to hit the revive, able to hit that rebound, as they are basically the cat with 9 lives at the moment, and they're trying to land on their feet off of the top shelf of the build, as they have many teams in front of them, one of them being Notch and Zeno, our reigning Victory Royale holders at the moment. So they're feeling very confident in this game. And did I see that correctly? 1,000 damage above Storm Surge, or was that just 100?
No. I think you saw it correctly. I believe it was 1,000 damage above Surge.
Wow. Alrighty then. So Zeno and Notch, yeah, definitely feeling very confident in this game at 7th place marker at the moment. So in this game where they have edge zone, they may need to make moves certainly quickly here, but for Yalti and Krizix, they're finally feeling what it's like to get that zone. Those still down below on Storm Surge. They need to get above here, but Trey, my man, needs to get out of this position, but he's not going to be able to withstand the heat from opposing players all around. But Yalti and Krizix still not able to get that much damage, only 50 above.
Zone going to show itself here. Stacking and Fabs. We'll see if they're in it. No. Half in, half out is going to pull towards the Epic Whale. And Reed is not going to pull those down. And as I say that, Reed is going to go down. Again, I'm not sure what caused that. I'm not sure how, but Cool is going to get an elimination there. Epic Whale seems to have pulled zone. And you know what happens when you pull zone? When your teammate's down, everybody is going to spray you. He has a little bit of a moment to go back up. 5 builds remaining, though. Doesn't really want to let anybody know that he's there. You hear the pitter-patter above him. Looks like Blizzy and Nitrix going to be the one to do it. Epic Whale has to try to find something because they're breaking down that wall. He's got to move. Looking for the shot. Is going to get the wall on the other side. Doesn't really have much to work with. Trying to get out. Honestly, needs to mantle his way on up or run around. There's not really a lot he has to work with here. 0 builds remaining. Does have the chug flashes. They know he's a solo. He's going to have to try to hope and wait that they've already made their way. Hope that they've rotated ahead of him, and it looks like they have for now. So Epic Whale gets a moment to breathe, but as a solo, he's going to have to clutch up.
Now, granted, we did see him there kind of alone in that side of zone, so hopefully he can kind of sneak by around everybody around that back end here as the Elam feed goes out, and down goes Epic Whale. So, leading in to 3rd place in this game, down they go. Now leaving 2nd place, Abaka and On1. Feeling really good about a 20-point gap of anybody behind them, but they need to fill her in the gap in front of them. Meanwhile, Favs and Snacky, another team, also on the brink at 246, 10 HP for Snacky, trying to make his way out of this build, somehow able to save himself a little bit longer here, but the pressure continues to arise, able to find that time to pop the chug splashes, stays alive, but only for a little breath.
And unfortunately, that breath is just going to be gone as Baka and On1 going to be the ones to do it. 2nd place right now. They look to secure it. All they have to do is hope that Yumi and Cool go down. If they can take them out, if someone else takes them out for them, that is 2nd place. Going to be able to secure a lot of points off that lead going into the last game. Landjuck and Punisher look to get back into the top 10 above Surge. Not in zone, looking for tags. They should be fine. Gonna have a lot of players rotating through them, but decide it's better just to rotate now.
Better to rotate now, especially around this top Condo Canyon area. There's a reason why it's called Condo Canyon. Lots of maneuvering parts almost abruptly around this area, so you have to make sure your rotates are on keen position. Meanwhile, Punisher and Landjack caught up in the back end. 11th place at the moment, trying to find their way in, and Landjack, a solo, has the madness, able to retain that HP, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, Notch and Zeno in trouble here. Zeno tries to make the clutch happen, but going down to 9th place behind them, Chris and Caden Knox. So, big leaderboard shifts are being made here, Clay.
Cool and Yumi just look to hold on. 305 points, and it seems like nobody can stop them there, picking up 3 elims this game. They are on a roll right now, coming out of what seems like for some people nowhere. For those that know, they have been around for a little while, and they have been proving themselves to be this level of competitor. Yumi and Cool, they're big grapple gloving their way on up. Cool almost taking a lot of fall damage. I'm going to take big shots as they're rotating through. Baka takes some as well. They're getting separated. They are stressed out right now. They don't have the amount of shields that they would like, but they get back together. They can breathe. They can take down Chris. Landjock playing as a solo, finding a duo. They say no. Armored wall. Cool, getting taken down pretty low, almost in a sense of panic. Does have a time to breathe, but shots coming through. Yumi gonna go down. Cool, down to 34 HP. This could be what they need for Baka and On1. The clutch of it's gonna be Vinci that takes him down. Cool goes forward, 24 HP. Savage cones himself. Does have time to pop the shields. Will he have time for the big? I don't believe so. Landjock as a solo still there. Epic Higher going to go down. Shots going through all around. Landjock, what can you do? What can you find? Right now, nothing. Mushiji going to go down. Shots will come through onto him. He's going to fall. Cool takes an unnecessary tick. The storm damage there is going to get in his zone. High ground pressuring him, but he has a chance to get this shot off, and he does, but it doesn't connect for enough. 100 damage there. Not going to get the elimination. Cool. Using that grapple glove one more time. Doesn't have any builds. Doesn't have any HP. Does have the shot. Gets elimination. Turn around on Divinity. Gets the elimination, but that's going to be it. They're gone. Bacon and Zeus have the opportunity to take high ground, and they do 3rd place. Looking oh so good as 1st place is out of the game.
First place out of the game. Meanwhile, that means a ton for many players, many teams. Also in the back end, Yelty there finding that elimination on to the opposing player of D-Wavy. Meanwhile, Bacon and Zuki's one of those teams able to have the priority here to take over the top spot, knocking over the team, contesting over the high ground, and Bacon and Zuki's need to find their way into the back end. That's Yelty here, taking over height, has the Memis able to retain, but no, knocked down, dropped down via the fall damage, and Bacon is the one to deliver it. Now looking down, spraying down the fire, right down below them, have to move in to pick up the extra materials as well in the back end. Meanwhile, Russo and Keto are trying to find their way down there, up towards the canyon area, and Bacon and Zuki's with 0 builds as well, trying to hold on. Keto in the same exact position, Lime in the back end, trying to find the correct shots to stay alive here. But now, as a final 2v2 drops down, Bacon hits the final big shot for the victory royale in game number 11.
What a game to do it in as well, closing the gap. First place falling early, and now we move on to the final game. We look at where this zone took us, where it is. Let's take a look at the replay one final time. Bacon almost messed up here, almost got caught off guard, but turned around. The beautiful shot, good shot to the face, taking him down. Victory Royale coming through. That's sure to close the gap. That's sure to put them closer to first place. And now there's one game remaining. The final game will be coming here shortly. It is going to be a very close one and a very intense one. Before we get into it, we got to throw it one last time back to the desk.
Okay. So hear me out. I've looked at the leaderboard, right? Yumi and Cool have a whopping 40-point lead, roughly, almost there, almost 40 points, right?
Holding it. Mm-hmm.
But second place after that game is none other than Bryson's pick in Bacon and Zooks, meaning that that game jumped them up to from I think it was like fifth they were in to second, 268 points. But Yumi and Cool, that lead, I think it's it. I think it's almost safe to say there's no one that can compete now. Now, if they do go down immediately, there's a chance, right? A very limited chance, but a chance nonetheless. But it will require one of the most significant elimination games in NA West history. I'm talking 15, 20 eliminations minimum for second, third, or fourth place. So it's going to be tough. It is going to be tough. I already see Snacky tweeting out. My man's like saying he's already kind of having to throw in the towel, that it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make up the points. This will be the first FNCS in 3 seasons that Snacky and Favs have not won. So that is pretty significant in itself. But this is actually going to be the first season that we haven't seen one of those top teams, those elite teams from NA West that we've known for so long. The Arkrum, Epic Whale, Reed, Snacky, Favs, they're out. It's Yumi and Cool time, and they are taking over. But right behind them, Bacon and Zooksies. So, look, it's very close. This competition, I cannot stress enough how on the edge of our seats we were watching that game unfold. We saw Snacky go down. We saw Yumi and Cool go down. We saw then Zeus clutch up, win the game, and we're like, wait, that puts them in contention for first. While there is a gap, it's still close, guys. Give your final thoughts, guys, before we go into this last game, the last game of the FNCS finals. What are you all thinking?
I mean, you said it pretty well there. They pretty much certified the win for him, unless they go out with pretty much 0 points on this last game, where they'd have to be eliminated right off spawn, and we'd have to see second or third have a pretty hefty win that game, or at least in the top 2, top 3. I don't think anybody below third place, though, would be able to make it up to first after this. So I think it's really the only chance is with second or third to be able to pass it. But I don't think Cool and them I don't think they're getting passed up. I think this is a big win for them. But there's still some gameplay to happen. The battlefield is still open, and that battle bus is still ready to ride. And a lot of these players are still going to be looking to climb up on for one final last game. So it's going to be interesting to see how people play, whether they use it as like a free-for-all W key type of game. They look for as many eliminations as possible, or they're going to play it safe like they have been and hope for the best and hope that they get in that top 5, top 3, maybe that victory royale for this final game. What do you think, Ben?
You got to start to think. I mean, a lot of these players, you're looking at what it's going to take to pull out that number 1 spot. That's what you want, right? Not only are you taking home a lot of prize money and that pickaxe of champions, but that could be the invitation to the invitational later on in the year. I mean, this is what it could take. I mean, who knows what really is in store for these players? So, I mean, it's big, fast, snacky. Reet and Epic Whale, obviously legends in NA West, but I mean, this is be the first time maybe we don't even see these guys in the top 3. It'll be a real battle. I mean, the 2 things I'm going to be looking at for this leaderboard and the players to watch out for, obviously anyone within the top 5, but you're going to be looking at these players of who's going to take 2nd over 3rd place, and then also are Favs and Snacky, Reet and Epic Whale, are they even going to break into that top 3 because they're going to need a big game to do it? I mean, granted, it's going to be a 20-point jump basically from outside of top 3 to get into that top 3 position as well. Granted, I mean, Cool and Yumi still rocking that 40-point lead like they've been doing all day. So, I mean, never say never, but you got to imagine they've locked it down at this point.
Yeah, look, never say never. I mean, realistically, that's the kind of mantra of NA West. We've seen it time and time again where even the top teams don't necessarily have it clutch down there in the final games, and all of a sudden they'll win back-to-back games, whatever the case may be. So I still think there's a lot of opportunity going to this final game. And based on what chat is saying, all it takes is a win in 8 elims. 8 elims is so easy to achieve.
We've seen it
in those final moments of a game. So I definitely think there's potential for it, but we'll have to find out. And who better to help us find out than Clay and Lash. Boys, bring it home. One final game. Let's get it.
One last time we will introduce you here for NA West during this FNCS before we get into the game. One last time for these players to clutch up and make it big. One last time for some people to prove themselves and show that it is not just a fluke, that they are this good. One last time before we hop into game. If you're just joining us, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. Welcome on in. My name is Clay Staley, and I'm joined by Lash here. Game number 12. It's possible for first place for it to be up to grabs. It's possible for it not to be up for grabs. It just depends on how well Yumi and Cool play in this final game. Lash, I won't ask you who's going to win. I won't ask you who's going to take the victory royale in the game. But I will ask, if this zone pulls to Sanctuary, are Yumi and Cool going to win?
Oh, most definitely. I believe they're going to be able to lock it down almost no matter what if they pull that zone, because they've done it almost every single time they have gotten it, or even able to clutch up a top 10. No matter what, that'll be basically solidifying themselves at first place.
It will indeed. And the battle bus is loaded. We'll be hopping in here shortly. And I want to see hype in chat for one last time as we're loading in to the final game of the day, the final game of all FNCS regions. You've seen every FNCS champion crowned today, except for NA West. And I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready. I am. And I know that we are behind the scenes. And I hope that your team is doing well. I want to see you rooting for them in the chat. I want to see you showing love to them. Because with the final game underway, here we go.
Here we go indeed. The final game. The game where we get to crown our last Chapter 3, Season 3 FNCS champion to take home that Axe of Champions 2.0. And Cool and Yumi could be that team to reign it home. And like Panda mentioned, this is the moment where we get to see possibly a new team for the first time in almost 2 years really hold that crown.
And honestly, it's been trending that way. If you just look at past FNCSs, the old guard of NA West has started slipping down. Their hold on the region has started fading away. And it's made way for some of these newer players to make their way to the top of the leaderboard, to show everybody what they have. And it is exciting to see as Krier will be the first player knocked Will they be eliminated? We'll find out momentarily. Kevin and Evol look to just try to clutch up one last time and get honestly out of Greasy early. Snacky and Fabs, 4th place here at Loot Lake, looking at Epic Whale and Arkram. There's a team nearby. They could sneak attack Snacky here and ruin their chance at getting in to that top spot. But it seems like they've shown each other a little bit mutual respect there. Snacky is fine for now, but I worry.
Yeah, both teams are definitely on the brink, literally side by side on the leaderboards of 4th and 5th place. So we could possibly see something like what happened last game where we see the boat attack, or we could see like what has been often showed there just off spawn, is that it's a mutual respect kind of thing. Both teams are really ramping up to maybe take back that crown, but no, they're in the battle. They're in the bits of fights at the moment. Epic Whale and Reek know they need this damage, know they need these Elans, and the fight is a brew.
They have to be careful though, because Snacky and Fabs are nearby. They have to hop in together and this shot quickly, and in this Elans quickly, because if they don't, it's going to be bad. They've never lost this fight today. Epic Whale and Reek have fought this team every single time and have not lost at all off of spawn. They have not gone down early. Well, they have had shaky moments as shot's going to come through. I believe that's going to be a boat. Mini and Moose making their way on in to the equation. Reet and Epic Whale realize this is not where we want to be and quickly try to disengage. But the other team is going to do that with the zip line. Reet going to take a lot of damage. This is not good. This is bad. Reet is in a spot where he's going to go down. Reet falls. Epic Whale needs to try to get away, but Mini and Moose are playing the ultimate spoiler. Epic Whale and Reet will go down.
Down go Epic Whale and Reet, and Midi and Moose are looking to steal these eliminations. Like you said, the ultimate spoiler into play. I don't see Fabs and Snacky anywhere nearby. They're looking to play a different strategy than Epic Whale and Reet had once decided, but now new fruits are being essentially planted. Fabs and Snacky also lurking around, and I'm excited to see where Demon and Co went. I believe they might have just got taken down there, but Fabs and Snacky, they're playing a little bit more off distance. They don't want to get full into coverage here, and now all of a sudden the landscape is starting to change here.
Moving over, replay coming on through. Evol and Kevin end up going down here between Cripus and Diego. Just beautiful play. They end the day, I think 7-3. Again, handing out L's. Jay will fall. Zuki's and Bacon 2nd place. One of the few teams that can contest for that 1st place spot. And NA West is no stranger to aggression. I talked about this. I set it up earlier. You're paying attention. You heard that they are very aggressive in this final game. And you can see it, 78 players. Reboots coming through. They rest, trying to get Fekoy up, but Lime looks to interrupt that, and they do. No reboot going to come through. No teammate there to help him out. Lime is going to back off. They just want to interrupt. They don't care about getting this Elam right away. They just don't want the reboot to go through.
Lime and Poppin are trying to get it poppin' up in here. They don't want it to be like a whole bag of popcorn that stays too long into the microwave, and now they're just trying to, I guess, get that popcorn nice, buttery, milky around that side, so that way they can get the correct, perfect timing kind of a limbs around there. And like you said, they just don't want the reboot happening as we tune in to our 3rd place team right now, On1 and Baka, one of the teams that is in contention for that possible 1st place position. And like mentioned before, a Victory Royale elims would only be enough to tie it, and that is disregarding any sort of extra placement coming in from Cool and Yumi. So as these teams continue to stay alive, every single placement that you get, every single elim that you get, Cool and Yumi have so far been able to match that and basically double that.
And we get a chance to look at them here. And guess what? Zone is on them. Everything is aligning right now. The stars are looking good. They have high ground. They have materials. They have position. And they don't have surge like Moose and Midi, who are all the way back in Tilted Towers. Shots coming through. Moose going to knock down one. Will hop his way on through. Is looking for the pickaxe. The disrespect coming through. They're going to dance on top of Epic Hire and Bobby Brown there. They get elims, and honestly, more power to them. If you know you're not going to get first coming into this game, but you want as much money as you can possibly get, you just have to go aggressive.
And my mind is kind of thinking to me, like, is this what they should have been doing this entire time? Like, even pushing into the battle of Epic Whale and Reet, noticing that that was this first time that Epic Whale and Reet went down Oswan here today and yesterday overall in the finals. And my beginning mind thinks, like, if Midi and Moose started doing this earlier, would they have been able to find the same exact kind of results? Because so far, it's working pretty well for them. And like you said, they're essentially just battling for every single placement they could get because they're still fighting for that chance to get into the top 10, maybe top 5 as well, because that bag definitely rolls up a whole lot more once you get to that point.
Remy and Kimchi just holding on, not trying to cause any sort of issues to move over. Zuki's and Bacon got a team below them, it seems like. Don't want to get knocked out, don't want to get farmed out. Below this high ground position, Mekton, fortunately going to go down. Blizzy going to be the one to do it. Bacon and Zuki's a team that can contest. Like On1 and Baka. They have to have a perfect game, and they have to hope that Cool and Yumi do not get enough placement to just secure it right away.
Yeah, they got to make sure that they're playing that big guard upon them. They don't want to let anybody not welcome in. They got to be the bouncer of the club, essentially, around that area, and they can't let anybody suspicious around them, or otherwise it could get mighty dangerous mighty quick. For Fabs and Snacky at the moment, though, at Coney Crossroads, hitting a free rotate for the first time, it seems like, in forever. We've seen Coney Crossroads clear pastures up ahead as big names already in the big Elam feed right now. And this is where the aggression of the players is truly coming into play.
Baka and On1 looking for those tags while Cool and Yumi are just vibing. We'll see where the zone pulls here in 10 seconds, if they're going to get blessed again or if they're going to have to rotate. If they pull it again, it is going to be, in my opinion, a GG. Well played. They don't. While they're still near the zone, they do not get it, and they don't get to sit there. They have the rotation in. They'll be able to sit here for a while, but they do not get to play their statue either.
Not able to play it, at least for the next over past 2-minute length. Because that's when they're going to need to hit the rotates. Because the struggle some position that they've fallen to in the past is essentially not rotating quick enough once they have fallen into positions like that, where they get partial zone, then they have to make a long stride and rotate slightly. And hopefully that can change the tides for them here in the final game, where they've had that time of progress to continue to lead it up. Maybe it'll work out for them, but for Bacon and Zuki's taking that fight of the team below them, that's going to be Source and Wale. That's the reason why there wasn't a team in the Coney Crossroads as second place. 268 points for Bacon and Zuki's right now. They cannot lose this fight.
They can't. They cannot at all. If they do, that's just ultimately going to be a first place secured. On1 going to go down. That's going to be a big elimination. Baka still up, still around. And Baka trying to use everything they can to get back away from this team. But it doesn't look like comeback day 2 and Jagbear want to let him do it. They're going to have to try something. They're going to have to get creative. This is third place. Unfortunately, losing their teammate, it doesn't seem like Jagbear and comeback day 2 are actually going to go that aggressive. So they have a chance. Lime on the other side. Pop in there as well. They have to be careful. A reboot could come through, but it is highly unlikely at this stage of the game for any region other than NA West.
Hey, we've seen reboots come across in any kind of final moments, and especially even in last game of last season's FNCS, we saw a reboot coming through from teams like Wavy Jacob in the final moments, where they were able to capitalize it out, even in the final 5th zone. And now we could see that for many other teams, but for Bacon and Zuki's, they're trying not to get the point, but Nox continue to go through. Ziku's left to his zone, and now with Bacon down, The entire team folds, and the cards have just been thrown across the entire island, and already second place is down. And all of a sudden here, it's looking even better for Cool and Yumi.
That is unfortunate. Bacon and Zooks were playing so well. So well. They got too greedy. They overextended. They wanted these elims because they knew they were behind, and that's what happens. Second place now going over to Baka and Onward, who did in fact get a reboot. Like I said, it's uncommon for regions outside of NA West. Onward going to be healed up by Baka. They have the grapple glove. The grapple, any extra heals on this rotate. Zone, not in their favor. They have 110 below. They're going to have to find Surge. Landjock and Punisher trying to put Lime popping back to the lobby. Looks like they're going to be able to do so. Landjock axing their way through, trying to find out exactly where this player went. Lost them a little bit in that sauce, but unfortunately for them, there's a team pushing behind them, so they have to run. They have to decide, is this going to be enough? Is it going to be worth it to fight two of these players that just came in? Taltai and Beast, completely fresh HP, fresh shields, fresh builds. For them, they decide, you know what, let's go for the loot, and then from there, we'll pick and choose our targets.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be fully worth it for them to fully push it into this fight at the moment, because they know they are in around that top 10 for the time being. But a team, speaking of in the top 10, top 5, that's going to be Baka and On1. They're able to find the full elimination onto Vanillas, knowing that the opposing player of D-Wavy is still alive right above them. They're trying to get in this box. They know they need this elimination at the moment if they want to be able to catch up to Cool and Yumi right now. Count it, 2 eliminations on the board, but the zone pulling around towards the Sanctuary to take a peek of how this fight exactly started. They started with a 3-2-1, got the knockdown, and they were able to take advantage of that battle.
One of the only teams that can contest now at this point. Wavy Jacobs giving them such a good leap forward. Saki and Favs are still here, but they would need a miracle to come through. They would need Cool and Yumi to go down essentially now. As we move through, Baka going to go down again. Actually, no, first time on one. Originally went down. Doesn't have much to worry about now. And as I say that, unfortunately, it looks like they may be going down now. Second place. If they go down now, this is ultimately first place secured.
It could be over here.
But you're right. It could be over.
On1, just trying to find his way around here. Trying to sneaky, essentially, towards that zone. He's just trying to find a little bit of an open space to kind of slither through. Gets to a safe spot, at least for now. So, we do have a time to breathe here for On1. He can pop these heals, but he doesn't want to pop off and give that indication to players like Squishy and Cheaters out here on the left side. So, he's going to stay quiet for now. The opportunity is still open play.
It's there. But it is going to be very hard. That mountain is getting bigger and bigger by the second that you have to keep climbing while it keeps growing. While Cool and Yumi keep putting on such an impressive set of games. And again, for a lot of players, they may be new to you. For a lot of people watching, whether you play or not, they may be new to you. But they have been consistently performing well. FNCS to FNCS. Last FNCS, they were in the top 5 overall. But here's the thing. If On1 go down and Cool and Yumi don't go down relatively soon after, Saki and Fabs have statistically very little chance. So for everybody that's rooting for On1, you better root. You better give them some luck, because right now they have none of it. The shots come through down to 83 HP. On1 has to hide. Cannot be peeking this. 142 below. The only reason they're peeking is because they are below Surge. Once it starts activating, the team above them is going to realize this is a solo. They realize now shots coming through. On1 62 HP in a dream, but the dream gets crushed.
It is over for On1 and Baka. Their FNCS is down. And unfortunately for them, they're going to slide from second down even more. X and Jeffers here in the meanwhile going down. The fights continue to unfold out here as every single team is fighting for what exactly they can get jobs done, secured around this area because they know exactly what is on the line. This is the final game of the Chapter 3, Season 3 FNCS Finals here on NA West. They know exactly what to do here. And every single one of these teams is fighting for every single point that they can get.
The only team that can contest first place now is going to be Snacky and Favs. And they need a miracle run. I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I don't like using that word often, but they need one. They need Cool and Yumi to go down now, and they need, honestly, 15-plus eliminations to come through. They need a lot. If any team could do it, I can see them popping off and doing it. Cool and Yumi, we'll see if they're below Surge. Truly, no, going to be above. They don't have to worry. And look at this. This is the epitome of tournament management. They are sitting in their boxes and only peeking if absolutely necessary.
It's so smart for Cool and Human. It's honestly the reason why they've gotten here right now and today. Leaving teams like Fabs and Snacky essentially in the dust. Left to maybe try and scratch up towards that top spot. Teams like Yelty and Krizix looking to fight down below, down bad on Storm Surge pretty much all day long, all tournament long. Yelty and Krizix trying to push in the battle. This is the battle against first place right now. Cool and Yumi. So Krizix and Yelty are trying to essentially knock them off the top of the stool right now and maybe put in a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a ticket as Krizix is going to jump in the box. Yumi and Cool have to be careful. The jump into the back end. Yumi and Cool are down. First place is wide open. Possible for the taking as Yelty and Krizix have taken them down here. Teams like Fabs and Snacky now actually have somewhat of a chance.
315 points, give or take a couple, is what they ended on. Snacky and Fabs, we're sitting at about 251, give or take a couple. That is going to be a lot of elims, and they need to win. If they do not win, they do not win. They're going to be second, maybe third. But now, the tournament rides on them for the first place team. Cool and Yumi's tournament, whether they walk out of here FNCS champions for NA West, rides on former FNCS champions of Snacky and Fabs.
This is what it all comes down to. 315 is the exact line that we saw on NA East, being able to bring the exact same line total of teams in. We saw teams start at 260 as well on NA East and make their way up like team of Commandment and Avery. Can Fabs and Snacky do the same exact team and compete also to bring the greatest game of NA West FNCS Finals history that we have ever seen? Teams like Caesar and Trap as well, still trying to fight for that top tier placement here today as well. Trying to take shots around this area. Bypass and Diego going down in the elimination feed. Huge elims, big fights are brewing, and this is just the beginning of the end here, Clay.
And for everybody that can't contend for first place, it's how much money can you get right now? How big can your play be? I mean, it goes back to our trivia question of who went from 66 to 6 at the World Cup. That's Crew. Showing that, hey, even though it's the final game, it still matters a lot. Batman and Booga in 9th place could get substantially more money if they make it into that top 5. And that's what they want to do. Right now, looking for elims, don't have a lot. Jelty and Krizix trying to break into that top 10. They took down first place. Cypress and Defiable trying to hold their top 10 spot. Jelty and Krizix just look to stay up together. And as I say that, unfortunately, they're going to fall to the same thing that's been plaguing them the entire day, not paying attention to their rotations and the people behind them on it. Krizix going to go down, Poppin going to fall as well. Jelty trying to make their way on in, but unfortunately gets taken down 25 HP. Once that Med stuff have builds, will They have time to pop it. Yes, they find a little pocket.
Just a little bit of room, air to breathe. But that air to breathe starting to be contested, compressed down. As you can see, everyone down there below the ridge is starting to feel that heat, that pressure start to immense. Meanwhile, Notch and Zeno, our Game 4 Victory Royales, are now lurking towards that high ground. That's how we saw them take home that Victory Royale in Game 4 alongside 12 Elims at that point. Meanwhile, Trap and Caesar are trying to fight for their own glory, their own positioning here in the back end of zone. They're able to find that elimination as well. That's on to Yelty. And now, for teams like Snacky and Favs trying to rotate on through, they need to pick up Elims now or never.
They're trying to do it mid, going to go down to zone. Batman Buga solo. Builds remaining 9th place. Again, hasn't moved much. 3 eliminations, Trap and Caesar. We're 19th in day number 1 at the end of it. Now 5th.
They're looking mighty good. Down there in the mid-ground position, Defiable and Cyphers, 10th place at the moment, have taken over that high ground layer. Meanwhile, Caden, Ox, and Chris kind of lurking there, but found their drop down. Snacky and Fabs, mid-ground, have taken over the point of attack. They're trying to find every Elim that they can possibly get. They take down the knock on a Zeno as well. Meanwhile, Notch finds the elimination onto a par as well. So the Elim feed continues to dwindle down even more as teams realize the battle that is on the line here.
Everybody looking for shots. Caesar and Trap. Cool zone. They get a moment to breathe. Trap fighting everybody. It seems Snacky going to go down. Fast still up. Yes, he is. Tries to get elimination. Will find one. Who's around him? Big Elim's coming through. Snacky not able to help more than giving the call-outs. We'll get the siphon there for Fabs. Will they find any HP? They're lurking. Yes, extra truck splashes. Yes, extra med miss. Yes, extra med kits. What can they find, though? A Victory Royale may be found for Defiable and Cypress, and that'll catapult them into the top 5 if they're able to do so. 7th place right now. Fabs does have 1 med miss remaining. 110 HP for them to spend in zone. They're trying to get through 41 builds. Here's the builds coming out. Stop the med miss for now. They're able to get to the front of zone. It seems like they need every elimination in the victory right now to get to first place. For them, it seems like they're going to end in 3rd. Zaki and Fabs are out. That means Cool and Yumi are your FNCS NA West champions for this chapter 2, or for this season rather. Defiable and Cypress look to close it out on top.
They're looking to close it out here. Everything is still filing below as far as placements go. All from up to 2nd place is still down. Everyone down there in the cluster of low ground, all in the battle. And Jagveer is fragging out down there. Meanwhile, Defiable and Cypers up here on the high ground are just witnessing all fall below them. They could find these Elims and continue to rank their way up towards the placements. Meanwhile, as you have Comeback and Jagveer down, still controlling all below them. Down here on the low ground, Dom still right above them, trying to control right above. Meanwhile, that zone is starting to go up. You have teams like Taotsai trying to play a little bit lower, possibly a spoiler around there, playing safely. 30 builds remaining as he needs to find this layer. Height continues to rain fire, and here we go, Clay. This is where all chaos ensues.
Shots continue to go through. Players running out of builds, running out of space. Taotsai trying to just clutch up any little points they can. 20th place, trying to break in. Cypress right there in front of Defiable, trying to find any sort of heals. The kids goes to heal off outside. 40 HP player in his box. Shot's going to connect. That's going to be elimination there for them. 2 a.m. Dom will fall at 2v1. Comeback day 2, and Jagger going to go for the high ground here. Going to try to take it away, but not going to be able to do so. Defiable on the other side. We'll watch that player go down the zone. Will they get the siphon? Yes, they will. Heal off will be secured by them. Can they continue to fight for the high ground? Yes, they have enough materials. Jagger up above. Defiable does have floppers. He needs to pop that flop, and flop he does pop. Jagger up above needs to find any sort of room in the zone. Has to drop down. Realizes they cannot continue to hold for the high ground. Reload from Defiable. Shots will go through. Jagger tries to make a play, but unfortunately Defiable going to clutch it up. 12 eliminations right now. Looking to get 13 for the duo and the Victory Royale. Defiable up above will more than likely be able to clutch it up. Taotsai trying to play that shot, but the zone's going to play him. Defiable for the Victory Royale.
A beautiful play by Cypers and Defiable, just controlling the high ground there. Just a beautiful play in those final moments to be able to take home that game number 12 Victory Royale as it brings them up towards the top of the leaderboards.
Beautiful play by them. Beautiful victory royale. And what a great tournament overall. Thank you so much. And congratulations to everybody playing. Congratulations to Yumi and Cool. Again, they are your NA West FNCS champions here today. They played amazing. They played wonderful. And thank you so much to everybody watching at home. Again, my name's Clay Sailing. This is Lash. And for one last time, we're going to send it back to the desk.
Well, look, it's pretty obvious who has walked away as your new NA West FNCS champions. It is none other than Yumi and Cool up there at the top of the leaderboard, and for good reason. Look, we've had some incredible changes to what is historically a pretty common leaderboard here on NA West. I mean, literally, third place, Snacky Fabs. They won the last 3 seasons. Now, it just didn't happen. You have Baka and Onwin there in second place. You have Cool Yumi in first. I mean, this is such a drastic change from what we're used to, guys.
Yeah, wow. Look at that. That top 5, Panda and Ben. I mean, you had Bacon and Zeus go from second all the way to 5th, but you still had Snacking Favsies move themselves up. But Defiable and Cypers, what a great last game for them, putting themselves in 4th place. I mean, all 5 of these teams should be just extremely proud of the placement they gained today and the winnings they gained. I mean, in general, that was some great gameplay. No matter what happened on that battlefield, that was some great gameplay by every single team. All 50 teams within this finals. So everybody that played, I mean, everybody should be proud. Making it to finals is a huge feat. I know I couldn't ever do it. So I'm saying right now, what these people have done, what these players have done is nothing short of amazing. But wow, Cool and Yumi. First place by a decent amount of points, too. That is a massive, massive win for the guys. Super happy to see that. And congratulations. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Crazy finish. Cool and Yumi stuck it through from day 1 all the way through day 2 to pull home the championship. Absolutely deserved from these two. Played out of their minds. The consistency. 3 victory royales. I mean, if any team deserved the championship, it's going to be them. They showed why they are on top this season, pulling home the win. I mean, something to point out as well. I mean, Epic Whale and Reet were 5th place going into that game, dropping down to 9th, just to show how close and how competitive this whole FNCS was, especially on NA West. It was so close. The only team showing out above everyone else would be Cool and Yumi. Well, pretty much the rest of the region, so close, so competitive. It's just so fun to watch. And Panda, once again, thank you so much for the opportunity, putting on such a fantastic show. It was absolutely incredible. Everyone working behind the scenes, thank you so much. I mean, it's been a blast.
Yeah, and to all of you at home that don't know, listen, it takes a village to make this happen. As soon as we heard that NA West wasn't going to have a broadcast, I went to work with an incredible team, both behind the scenes and on camera, to make all of this happen for you all at home. And I wouldn't be here being able to do this without every single one of them. So make sure, go follow them. You got, obviously, Unamused Bryson, BenK_live. You got Clay Staling. You got Caster Lash. You have Connor Oreo. Con Oreo, this man and his name, from production. You got B-Mick from production. You have War behind the scenes. War is Hyper. Make sure to go follow all these guys, because, again, without them, this would not be possible. So, again, follow Bryson, BenK_live. These guys are the homies. But look, we have a very, very special setup just for you all at home. We have gathered the winners of the FNCS NA West Finals here in Yumi and Cool to do a very special interview. What's going on? Cool, Yumi? Congratulations, guys. You are the FNCS champions. How are you feeling right now, Cool? Yeah. Okay. How about Yumi? Yumi, how are you feeling?
Pretty normal. It was pretty expected.
Okay. I like the confidence.
I mean, we won week 1, and I knew we had like the best spot no one knew about, and we're just gonna win.
You know, I respect that confidence. And again, we actually, for those at home that don't know, before this show even started today, I pulled Cool and Yumi into a call and brought them in. I said, hey, look, I mean, I'm pretty confident that you guys are going to walk away the champions today. Are you guys down to do an interview? And they were instantly like, yep, for the people at home, we're here. So thank you for that. Cool, Yumi. But guys, listen, you tell the people at home, what are you feeling right now? The excitement here for NA West.
I mean, it feels amazing because we're like an up-and-comer team that won. Because, you know, Snacky, Ree, all of them, they always win. And we just came in and swooped it from them. Just took the little dub.
I respect Yumi. I respect that. Look, and this is one thing I will say. Obviously, beautiful dog, by the way. If you don't know, this is Yumi's pup. What's the dog's name?
His name's Chop.
Top?
Chop.
Oh, Chop.
Like from GTA.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice. You know, respect it. All right. Very nice name. So let's talk about you guys as a team. When did you meet Cool, and how long have you been duoing together?
I mean, I met Cool like 4 years ago. Back in like,
wow,
or maybe 3. It was a long time ago, and he was always like way better than me. And I was like a 2 KPR player, and he had like 2K, and he was actually really good.
Oh, another OBS.
And then I think he took like a break after Chapter 3, Season 1. He didn't like the game, but I just kept playing, and I got up to like that standard of a good player. I used to be a fragger, so I transferred to an IGL.
Nice.
I DM Cool. I said, all right, bro, come back to the game. We can do hella good. I'm IGL, you frag.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
Well, that's sick. Yeah, listen, Cool, man. Tell us about how excited you are, man. How are you feeling after this big moment?
I'm pretty excited, but like we had a lead for a while, so I'm not like that like surprised. But yeah, it feels good to be like a team that isn't that known winning. That's like the big thing.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that. And look, guys, if you weren't as known as you just said before, you're known now. And not only known, but known as the NA West FNCS champions who are able to dethrone the most consistent players across any region. I mean, literally the story has been Snacky Fabs or Reet Snacky Fabs or Arkham, Epic Whale, and Reet or Arkham, Epic Whale, and Rex. Like one of those teams has always been the story. So for Cool and Yumi to come in and just swipe that away and in a dominant fashion, mind you, is just incredible. Now, one last question before you go. The first 2 games of today didn't necessarily go into your favor. How did you guys keep a good mental focus on the games ahead to stay a course throughout the rest of the games? And Yumi, what were you thinking?
I mean, after the first 2 games, I'm like my vibes are low-key shot. But that big reset that happened, I actually needed that. That like, it calmed me down. It got me ready for the next game.
I respect that.
After the first 2 games, we did bad. We were still in first. I just let those 2 games go. I'm like, we're still in first. We pulled the zone. We got hype. We won.
Well,
we brought it back.
That's the way to do it, man. That's the mental you need to have to be champions. And you guys are, in fact, champions. And it's funny, behind the scenes, War, working in production, he saw your call, right? He saw exactly what you just said, that you guys got that zone in that game. And he's like, this is their game to win. And you did it. So congratulations again. The new NA West FNCS champions, Cool, Yumi. Congratulations again. And thank you so much for coming on for an interview. Tell the people at home where they can find you, by the way.
On YouTube, mine's Yumi FNBR. On Twitter, it's Yumi FNBR. On, I think TikTok, same thing. I don't know what Insta is, but on my Twitter, I have a link tree right in my bio. It has all my socials.
Well, perfect. Make sure to go follow them on all socials, guys. And for all of you at home that tuned in, thank you guys so much for making this possible. We wouldn't be here without you. NA West wouldn't be here without all of you at home supporting this. So thank you so much. Until next time, take it easy. Peace, everybody.